What happens if you lose, Nick?
Who the hell is Aquaman?
I get Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Pebbles, I get Sausage Biscuit. Maybe you guys will see a little footage of that later on because we got some good stuff.
Fill up the juices. There you go, baby.
Hey, boys and girls, good evening and welcome. This is Kate Side with Christopher James. I'm Christopher James. Happy to be here on this super duper Monday afternoon or early evening, if you will, depending on where you are. It's evening time here in Tampa, Florida. If you're on the West Coast, it's still afternoon, so you got all that stuff going on. Happy to have you guys on board, and we will get this thing rolling here in just a second. I just got to share this out to a bunch of groups real quick, and then we'll be good to go. What the heck? Share. There we go. Groups. Hope you guys are having a good day. We're going to talk about a couple of things. First of all, congratulations to Britton Hart, the bare knuckle fighting championship, 115-pound world champion, on retaining her title at BKFC 63 in Sturgis this past weekend at the greatest, biggest bike rally on the planet. There was about 30,000 people there attending the show. It's the most attended show in the States, and I think anywhere for BKFC, which is awesome. She had a fight against Taylor Starling. She won the fight 48-47, 48-47, 49-46. So that was pretty cool. I'm happy for her. Conor McGregor showed up, brought with him an airplane full of Forged Irish Stout, his beer. And if I recall correctly, Britton Hart, after she won her belt or retained her belt, she chugged a can of the beer right there inside the squared circle. It was absolutely cool to see. So that was that with BKFC. There was a couple other good fights on that card. I'll get into that probably later on this evening if I have time to jump back into it. If not, then we won't. Save, post. There we go. All right. Now, let me see. What are we doing here? Let me run a banner up here. This weekend, this Friday night in Pensacola, it's Island Fights 84 live from the Pensacola Bay Center. I will be in the ring announcing fights. Fight Bananas will be there covering the event. Dave and Auken will be on the play-by-play desk. Elle Dawson will be making her first trip to Pensacola, so we're excited for that. And, it's going to be a good night. Dylan Kleckler versus Frank Tate, Big Frank Tate. I believe they're boxing. Not sure. I'll find out more information when I get to town. I always get information at the very last minute. Nobody tells me nothing. It's just the way it goes, I guess, sometimes. But that's it. Thanks for tuning in today to Kate Side with Christopher James. Make sure you check out our sponsors. HKA USA, Jawser Size. With HKA USA, they got great boxing gear and MMA gear. You can check them out at hkausa.com and use the code BANANAS20 for 20% off all gear all the time. So let's see. What are the things I want to touch on? My first guest today will be Carli Judice. She's a UFC fighter. She's 3-2 overall in MMA. So she's only 5 fights into her career. And in her 4th fight, she did a Contender Series fight, and then she got elevated to the UFC. So that's pretty cool for her. Oh, excuse me, I gotta adjust my chair a little bit. Wearing an old school XFC shirt, Extreme Fighting Championship. They have an event coming up on the 27th of September. I might actually be out there ring announcing that. I'm waiting to find out about that. Hopefully I get to go, get some more events under my belt this year. I really need them. So, if you're a promoter out there and you're watching, hit me up. I'm looking for gigs to ring announce, do backstage interviews, in-ring or in-cage interviews, whatever you got. I put a question up on my page today. Let's see. Where is my question? Should there be a rule in the UFC where they cut fighters after 4 losses? Got some good feedback. Some people said, well, you can't cut somebody after 4 losses because what if they were fighting the 4 top guys in their division? I would contest that by saying that very rarely do you see one fighter take on the top 4 guys in their division back to back to back to back to back. I don't know. I chose the number 4 because I figured after 3 fights, you get one more shot. And this is just my opinion. But after 3 fights and you lose, you get one more shot. After the 4th fight, you've proven that you're not on it right now. I'm not saying you can't come back, but my opinion is you're taking up a roster spot that somebody else could be looking for. So, you got to, I guess, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I want to see guys get kicked out of the UFC after 4 fights, but it's just, there's guys that are in the UFC that are fighting that shouldn't be fighting, in my opinion, because they're on such terrible losing streaks and they've shown no signs of improvement in those, 4 or 5 fights in a row where they've lost. So I don't understand the logic of keeping somebody around like that. Even if they sell tickets or pay-per-views, this is a sport and it's a business. But sometimes I think the business comes ahead of the sport, and I think that's wrong. I think the sport has to come first, the integrity of it. Like my boy, SD Dumas, had a great fight this past weekend in Abu Dhabi. Congratulations to SD. He's an Island Fights old school veteran. He went out there and got a win, unanimous decision. But the guy was fighting was on a 3 or 4 fight skid. Or he was 1-4 in his last 5 UFC fights, something like that. And while I'm happy that SD got the win, his opponent, I don't think belongs in the octagon anymore after that loss. Hopefully he's going to get cut. And I don't say hopefully like, God, I want you to not make any money anymore. But again, you're clogging up a roster spot that somebody else out there is clamoring for that will probably do better work. So put him in, coach. You know what I'm saying? Put me in, coach. Put me in, coach. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So, if you guys want to comment on that, do you think I'm right or wrong? Garrett Kerman, what's up, brother? My man. Guys, don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're not already there on Fight Bananas, you're missing out. Also, this is a great Christopher J. Rothstein for president. He's making Mondays great again. Thanks, Forrest. I appreciate that as always. Yeah, guys, subscribe and hit the smash button. Smash button. Smash. Smash, 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 smash. Follow us on our Instagram page. Follow my Instagram at Christopher James MMA. I haven't done a lot on there, but I'm slowly catching up to Instagram. My big social media platform is Facebook. That's where I have the most impact and the most reach, I guess, for lack of a better term. But hopefully, as we grow this up on Fight Bananas, could be doing shows every day. There's a Fight Bananas show every day with the addition of James Lynch. We have a lot more one-off interviews that are really cool to have. He's a great interviewer, great journalist. I love the guy to death. I'm so honored to work on the same team as James Lynch. And Dakota Decheva won her fight at PFL. I almost forgot to talk about her. And she was awesome. She called out all the cans. Her post-fight interview was great. She's a girl that I see being able to come to the UFC if she wants to after she wins this $1 million tournament, because she's taking on Talia Santos. This is the biggest test of her career. I'm taking Decheva to win, but Talia Santos is going to be the biggest test. And like I said, she's no joke. She could go out there and fight with the best of them. She was a title contender in the UFC. She chose to go to PFL and fight for $1 million. And now she's fighting for $1 million against Dakota. So that's going to be a very entertaining and interesting fight. I don't remember the date of the final. But when it comes up, I will definitely post about it. No doubt about it. Also today on the show, after we talk with Carli Judice, we're going to talk with my man, Nate Maness. 5-2 in the UFC. 16-3 overall in his career. 3 fight night bonuses. And he still does not have a UFC contract. But he does have a new home, from what I understand from his manager, Pat Wilson. So we're going to talk to Nate today. He's the talk of the town right now because everybody's wondering why this guy can't get back to the UFC. They told him he wasn't exciting enough to be there. I call BS on that. I don't think that's right. I think, a guy like him who's willing to fight across 3 different divisions, because he's fought at bantamweight, featherweight, and flyweight. So how do you not keep this guy around? He's a guy that you want. If I'm a promoter, that's the guy I want. I want a guy that wants to fight all over the place, anybody, anytime. He never says no to a fight. But we're going to talk to him at 6:40 p.m. and find out where his new home is going to be. I'm excited for that. And then after that, we will talk with a UFC legend. I call him a legend because he's had like 29 fights in the UFC. He's Ovince St. Preux, OSP. Yeah, you know me. You down with OSP? Yes, I am. He's a great guy. I see Carli hanging out in the green room right there. She's looking all happy. She's got a big smile on her face. We're going to bring her on here in about 3 minutes. Also, Terrence Bud Crawford had a big fight this weekend. I almost forgot about his fight, to be honest with you. And he, a lot of people said I was wrong, but I felt that he lost the fight. It was a great boxing match, a lot of back and forth action. The judges gave it 116 to 112, 115, 113, 115, 113 over Israel Madrimov. I felt Madrimov won. I thought he was pushing the action more. He landed more of the clean punches. But I am not the judge. I am not the referee. So I just, have to take what they give us. The 115 to 113 could have gone to either guy. I will say that. It was that close of a fight. But Terrence Bud Crawford also wants to move up and face Canelo. Based on the performance I saw this past weekend, that's a bad idea for Crawford to try to move up to 160-ish. Maybe 168, I think it is, to fight Canelo. He'll get his ass kicked. And, he's 41-0. I would hate for his O to go. Although, he's chasing legacy. He's chasing a dream to be one of the best ever. So go for it, do your thing, and enjoy the ride, brother. But I don't think you should jump up to Canelo's weight class, but you're going to do what you're going to do. And let's see. Corey Sandhagen, Umar Nurmagomedov this past week at UFC Abu Dhabi. Everybody was taking Sandhagen to win that fight. I took Umar Nurmagomedov to win the fight. He did win the fight convincingly too. And he proved that he could fight on his feet. He's a Khabib student. He's Khabib's cousin. So everybody expected all the crazy grappling. He tried, but Sandhagen's takedown defense was absolutely impeccable. He really did a great job in preparing for that fight, but he lost, So now Umar will be next, and he'll get the winner of Sean O'Malley and Merab Dvalishvili, which is going to be a great fight at the Sphere. I'm taking Merab to beat Sean O'Malley because I'm that guy. But anyway, boys and girls, we're going to bring in, and if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments. If you have any questions for my guests, drop them in the comments as well. But we're going to bring on our first guest. She is in the UFC. She's an awesome fighter. I've seen her before she ever got to the UFC. I've seen videos of her. I had seen videos of her, and I was really impressed. I think her kickboxing is off the charts. I think, and I put it up on my post when I talked about the show the other day, I really think she's the future of her division. And I could say that right from the heart. Granted, she's only got 5 professional fights in her career, but sometimes there's an it factor that a fighter brings with them. And I feel that she has the it factor. I could be fucking wrong, but I'm probably not. So we're going to bring her in right now. I love her nickname, Crispy. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the lovely Carli Judice to Kate Side with Christopher James. Good evening, Carli.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. Crispy, where the hell did they come up with that nickname? Because I love your freaking nickname.
Yeah, it's a long story. I grew up in a cake shop. My grandmother owned a cake shop growing up, and I had 7 siblings. And any time of the day, my grandma would give us sweets, whatever we wanted. We drink like icing before you'd whip it. It was just like sweet milk, and we drink so. I'm like addicted to sugar, so it's kind of like a pun on Krispy Kreme donuts.
Oh.
I want my fight style to be crisp and smooth. So there's those 2 things that go into it. So I think it's perfect for me.
I love the nickname, and now I like it even better because of the story. So Grandma got the sweet treats, huh?
Yep. She definitely tried to spoil us with it. So not all of us are, not all of me and my siblings are addicted to sugar, but I got that, that trait. So, I'm just running with it, with the nickname.
So what's your favorite sweet treat from grandma?
Well, she owned a cake shop, so she would make cakes all the time, but I would have to go with her brownies. She would make brownies with pecans and fudge on top, and it's the best. She still makes them to this day every once in a while.
Do you carry those to the fights with you so you can eat one after you beat somebody up?
No, but we do go buy donuts before the fight so that we have them right after, and that's what I did last time. We got these in Vegas. We got these fancy donuts. I forgot what they're called. It's hard to pronounce, but we got like 6 donuts, and I was going to share them with everybody that came with me, and nobody wanted any, so I ended up eating like most of them, and it's bad because I shouldn't be eating 6 big stuffed donuts, but nobody wanted to share, so I had to finish them.
Well, your last fight in Vegas, you fought for the UFC. It was your debut night. You took an L. So you know what? If you take an L, you're allowed to eat 6 donuts, girl. It's okay. It's in the rule book. Go look it up.
Right. If you take an L, you're allowed to eat them. If you take a dub,
if you take a win, you're allowed to eat 12.
Okay, bet. I didn't 6 across the board, but good. Maybe next time I'll try extra hard to get a win so I can have 12 of them.
Yeah, so let's talk about you and the UFC. I'm looking at your record. You had 4 amateur fights, and then you had 3 pro fights. And like I said, I'd seen like when you fought Tara Pagano and when you fought Monica Medina, I'd seen those fights, and I saw a clip of Ivana Coleman when you beat her with the head kick, which was sick. But you're 3 fights into your career, you get the Contender Series, and then you didn't even win the Contender Series fight, and yet you still ended up in the UFC. And that's with 4 before your 5th pro fight, you're 4 fights into your career, and that really doesn't happen. Where you're 4 fights into your pro career and you end up in the UFC. I mean, there's examples of guys like Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel is an absolute beast. And, his wrestling credentials that he brought with him to the UFC, and his MMA debut actually came with a company called Island Fights, who I ring announced for. And I just saw him back there in his first amateur fight. I was like, holy fuck. And when I saw your first pro fight, I was like, this girl's fucking legit, because I peruse the internet and I look for videos and I try to find fighters, and try to catch up with them early in their career, so I could build a relationship, get them on the show, hopefully help them grow their brand. Just little things like that. And I love talking to fighters, so it works out. And I saw that head kick win over Coleman. And I mean, what was that? And I think it was like 17 seconds or something. I mean, it was so damn quick. So let's backtrack. What made you get into the sport in the first place? Because I mean, we're talking, you're 3 years in, including your amateur career, and you're in the freaking UFC. How the hell that happened?
Yeah, it's been crazy. About in 2020, I had a scholarship to play softball at McNeese, so I've been playing softball my whole entire life. So I went play softball for about 2 years, and I kind of just got burnt out. I've played softball my whole life, I kind of just wanted to change. So, and I was about an hour and a half away from home at McNeese, so I moved home. Started going to a community college at home and just working. I was working at a restaurant and I was bored, didn't have nothing to do. I was so used to playing sports and competing and working out my whole entire life that when I wasn't doing anything, I just kind of felt like, okay, what am I doing with my life? So my brother, my oldest brother, was at the gym, Head Kicks Martial Arts in Lafayette, that I am at now. And he was just like, come try the 2-week trial. Like, you're not doing anything. Like, so just come try it out. So I went over there. I paid $30, got a free pair of gloves with the 2-week trial. That was right before COVID. So I think February of 2020, because my first amateur fight was February of 2021, like exactly a year after training. So, I mean, I did the 2-week trial. I fell in love with it. Like, I love to like hit stuff. But looking back on it, I'm sure I look at videos from like my first few weeks in it, and I was just like swinging like whack. Like, I looked terrible, and like I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't even know what a jab was. Like, I was that person that would call MMA UFC. Like, UFC was MMA. Like, I didn't know, like 4 years ago, So I was that person, and to say that I'm in UFC now, and at the level I am, it's crazy to think about and look back, and I'm proud of myself for it, because it did take a lot of work, a lot of hours, But I think one of the biggest in the start, the biggest things that started it was right when I started. COVID happened, right? So I was locked in my house, and I was like, well, what better time to work on all the basics and like, perfect all these techniques and now, because you had all day, every day. So I remember I would run 2 miles every single day, and I would just hit the bag. I had a bag hanging up in my garage, and I'd do that. And that was like, that taught me all the basics. And then right after COVID, we picked it back up. I went back to head kicks. And then about, a year after I started training, I had my first amateur fight.
That's crazy. And so all this started during COVID. You're locked up in the house. You got the bag in your garage. You're running 2 miles. Did you leave the house to do the 2 miles, or were you doing laps in your house, 2 miles in the house?
No, we had like so I would have did 2 laps in my house, but yeah, no, I was running in sub. It was cool. It was fun to look back on. I have videos from then. I have videos like, I feel like I used to video everything because I was that type of person to slow it down, look at it, and figure out why I looked retarded, like why I looked so bad, so that like how I can fix it. Because I always wanted to, people to look at me and be like, wow, that she's good, like she's technically sound. So even back then, I was like, I don't want to look like I don't know what I'm doing. So that's one thing I've always tried to do, and I still do. Watch videos and make sure that everything is technically sound, and slowly start to make everything better. But I have so many videos back then, and it's crazy to like look at the progress that, how far my skill set, my technique has come.
And it's crazy that, again, it's only been 3.5 years, I guess, roughly overall, or maybe 4, almost 4 now with COVID. Yeah. So yeah, 2020, 2024, when you actually, so 4 years, still a meteoric rise to the UFC. You said you were a softball player, and do you miss softball?
Not really. I'm so like in love with this sport that this is what I love to do. And I'll go play softball every once in a while, and it's nostalgic and it's fun. But I definitely don't regret not playing it anymore. The time I had in softball taught me so much, and I grew as a person playing softball, and I met so many great people that I'm still friends with to this day. So just like everything in life, it had its place, and it made me part of who I am. And now I'm on to another chapter, and I'm grateful for everything that's happened, because I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And it's only just getting started.
Yeah, you really are. I mean, as far as this game is concerned, you're a baby. I mean, you're just a little baby in this game, and it's crazy. You said you had all these videos and you watch all these videos. Have you shared all these videos? Like, are we going to get to see some of these videos one day pop up on your, social media of, Carli trying to hit the bag and missing, and, silly stuff like that? I mean, are there videos that exist like that of you looking silly?
Yeah, I made one reel on Instagram, and it shows small clips of some of the bad times, but I had some worse ones. I was kind of embarrassed. So maybe I'll come out with the ones that are worse pretty soon here. I'll make another.
You got to get a full like a blooper reel out there, and show little pieces all the way along your journey. It's funny because even though you're in the UFC now, you're still going to have those moments in the gym where, you're going to look back at a video that you're doing now. I mean, even this week, tomorrow, whatever, and you're going to go, what the fuck was I thinking? What was I freaking doing? Oh my God. And it's because you're so young into this, in the UFC, and you're so young into the career in the sport of mixed martial arts, your ceiling is so elevated. Because, the person and the fighter we see today isn't going to exist this time next year. And then
Right.
The following year, the person that's here next year isn't going to exist 2 years from now. Where there's other people you see, I mean, like Max Holloway. Max Holloway is it's crazy. Max Holloway is only 32 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like I was looking that up today for some reason. It was just on my head, and he's had so many fights in the octagon. I mean, he's been there forever, but I don't know if we'll see any evolution from where he is now. And really from the last 7 to 8 fights, maybe 9 fights, Max has evolved into the athlete that he was meant to be. His heart and his warrior spirit just carries him along so well, but he's such a great fighter. And then there's Carli Judice, who we don't even know what you're going to turn into. like I made a bold prediction. You heard me. I said it, I think you have all the tools in your box to really be a dominant force in your weight class and one day become a champion. And that's a lot of praise to put out on somebody so young in their career. A lot of times I talk to people that are 4 years into their career and they're just finishing up their amateur career and they're getting their first pro fight,
Yeah.
and you're 5 fights in and shit, I'm in the UFC, people. What's up? And you don't come across as cocky, so I'm sure you're not walking around saying that to people. I'll say it for you.
Oh no, sometimes I really wear my UFC gear around depending on where I'm going. So just, I'm not trying to like scream at everybody that I'm in the UFC. If they see me on TV and they recognize me, then it's cool. But I'm a normal person. I wasn't in the UFC, as of last year. I had 3 fights. Like I'm not, I'm just like anybody else. I'm just trying to get better every day and be a better person, be a better athlete, especially because I've been an athlete my whole life. So you just continue being an athlete in whatever way that means, then that's what I'm trying to do. But yeah, I appreciate you saying that. And I'm like, I want to live up to, the hype and live up to what people expect. And also I expect that out of myself. I expect to be so much better because I feel it. Like I feel how much room for growth I have. And that excites me because I know that, like you said, the sky's the limit. Like I have so much more to learn. Like I don't know anything in the big picture of it. So it's exciting how much I still have to learn. And I'm excited to keep figuring things out and getting better because I'm definitely trying to go as far as I can with this. It excites me to get better. It excites me to, be in the octagon and fight. It's literally my favorite thing. I love the nerves. I love the stress of fight camp. I love the hard work, in the moment, like, dieting, being chronically exhausted from fight camp. You look back on it and it's like, dang, that sucked. But in the moment, but overall, it's like every single time I go through a fight camp and a fight, I look back and it's like, I'm not the person I was when I was 20 or 21. I'm 25 now, almost 26. Right. I'll be at 26 in March. So just to see that I'm not the same person I was even a year ago. And it's cool to know how much, I have so much more room for growth in everything, physical, mental, spiritual, so that's exciting to look forward to that.
And you said something a few minutes ago about when you first got started, you didn't even know what a jab was. So once you got into the gym and you started learning, what a jab is and what a cross is and what a hook is and an uppercut and, how to, grab a choke properly and all the things that you learn along the way that you're still continually learning. Once you started training and really going, all right, this is what I want to do. Were there any female, and I'm asking specifically female, we'll go back and see if there's any other male fighters as well, but specifically female fighters that you knew of at the time that you really said, you know what, that girl's got what I want. That girl does it the way I see myself in my head.
Yeah, definitely. Well, one of the ones that stick out, obviously, Shevchenko, if I'm not mistaken, she's Southpaw. She has a tattoo on her leg that's exactly like mine, the one that wraps around. So I was like, back then, I was like, yep, that's going to be me one day. So definitely Shevchenko, she's amazing. She was a champion for so long for a reason. And that's definitely who I'm trying to be like. And she has that kickboxing style that I love. I love to be on my feet, bouncing around, throwing kicks, throwing hands. So I definitely look up to her and strive to be like her. Especially when I first started, that's who I was trying to be where she was.
Yeah, you got a little trip before you get there, girl.
Yep.
Although, you never know. I mean, they got you in the UFC this quick. Who knows? You get a couple of wins under your belt. Maybe they'll just say, fuck it, let's give Carli a shot. I mean, you just don't know.
Well, I'm definitely take my time. I even wanted to, looking back, I always said that I wish I had more amateur fights, but locally we couldn't find anybody. I was taking so long off trying to find fights that we were just, we sat down with my coaches and we were like, okay, well, we just decided to go pro because we couldn't find anything locally for amateurs. Everybody was turning it down or there was just no females to fight. That's why we decided to go pro when we did. And I wish, I would like more pro fights before I got the Contender Series call, but you don't turn that down. Like
no.
You get the call, you go and you do as best as you can. So that's what I tried to do. I tried to make the best out of what I was given. And yeah, it's just, that would have been the stupidest thing I ever did, saying, no, I'm not ready. No, like I'm ready. And if I'm not ready, I'm going to, I'm going to figure it out, but we're going to see if I'm ready or not. And that's what we did. And I lost, and it sucks to take 2 L's back to back, especially coming off. I was undefeated with
I know.
mainly knockouts. And so when you realize that you're not unstoppable, because that's what I felt like I was, in a way, like I was trying to stay humble and not like, I wasn't going around telling everybody I'm undefeated. But in the back of your mind, you're like, wow, I might be kind of good. I'm getting knockouts, I'm winning, I'm undefeated. And then you go and you lose 2 back to back. It's like, dang, all right, okay, I got to get better. I got to figure other things out because, what I was doing in those last 2 fights wasn't working, because I can be great. I can get fight of the night. I can do this. I can do that. But if I'm not winning, then there's something wrong. Like I have to win at some point. I can't just keep losing. So there's that shift right that I have to, make some adjustments.
Yeah, and you will. But, it's my opinion. Fact is, everybody's going to lose. There's very few John Jones or Khabibs out there that, or Umar, who go undefeated. I mean, it just doesn't happen as a regular thing. For me, if I got to take some back-to-back losses, I want them early when I'm still learning. I don't want them when the bigger fight offers are coming in, because then, you get one big fight offer, you lose that fight, you're right back here, and who wants to go, the goal of this is to go forward and be the best fighter on the planet, become the world champion, wear that UFC belt and be like, yeah, that's me, Carli Judice, champ. What, and just, and you might not do that publicly, but you'll do it in the mirror,
Yeah. Or to my dog or something.
To your dog. What kind of dog do you got?
I have a toy Australian Shepherd.
I had an Australian Shepherd a long time ago, a miniature one.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, and I named him Murgatroyd. He was the coolest little dog I ever had in my life.
Murgatroyd? What's that?
Murgatroyd. I don't know where it came from, except for my dad when I was a little kid. He would, and him and my uncle Allie, they were like best friends and everything, and they would walk around, make like weird noise, like they'd be like schmock, schmock, Murgatroyd, yeah, and just for whatever reason, don't know why. So Murgatroyd stuck in my head. So when I got the dog, Murgatroyd was the name.
There you go. It worked. I mean, he doesn't know that might not be the best name. I lied. Sounds great. Was he? He was a good dog. I know that. I love those breeds. I was looking at research before I got that dog for the longest time, because I heard that they were just like great breeds. Mine actually went blind, but he's so good. He's even calmer now that he's blind.
Well, he has to be, because otherwise he'd be running into shit.
I know he still does, but he runs into it a lot slower now. When he first went blind, he was going hard, but now he's learning. He walks slow everywhere he goes now.
Yeah, animals are so so in tune with themselves to adapt to, losing a limb or losing their eyesight or things like that. And they figure it out better than we do as humans. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what I would do if I went blind. I'd want to off myself. I mean, I'm being honest, because I'm 55 years old and I've seen the beauty of this world. I would never want that light to be shut off. I wouldn't be happy.
Right.
I just don't think I'd be happy. And the dog is just like, I'm going to take a crap on the lawn. I'm going to eat my food. Carli's going to rub my belly.
Exactly. Yep. Go about his day like normal.
So going back to the thing with the losses, it's better to get them out of the way now, and take them as learning experiences instead of losses, because that's what they are at this early. Again, you're so 5 pro fights, so 9 fights total. This is still such a learning phase for you in your career that it's okay to take. I mean, it's not like you got your ass kicked. They were both split decisions. So, you were in both fights. And, obviously that's why you got to the UFC, because your fight with Ernesto was a close fight. It was a good fight. And even with Gabriella, you had a great fight with her. You just, the judges just didn't see it in your favor, at least enough of the judges to give you the win.
Yeah. But all the time, don't leave it up to the judges. So, don't leave it close. Don't, so that's on, I can say both fights were close. I think I won this one. I think I lost that one, but I got to start, not leaving it up to the judges and, doing a little better. But like you said, it's a good learning, all good learning experiences. It's the first 2 times I've ever went 15 minutes. Besides my amateur career, I had 2 title fights, which were 5 3-minute rounds. Right. So I went 15 minutes there, but it's totally different going those extra 2 minutes at the end of a round, as opposed to amateur 3 minutes and then pro 5. It's like I used to be trained. I remember when I first tried to train to go pro, right? Like, because when we decided to go pro, we automatically, obviously, going 5-minute rounds. I used to look up at the timer. I was freaking gassed. I looked up at the timer. It was on the 3-minute mark. Like, I was still fighting my amateur pace, trying to fight 5 minutes. And it took me the longest time to realize that and like adjust and fight a different way. Because I still wanted to figure out how to keep the volume that I had, but go 5 minutes, because I can, as an amateur, if you watch my fights, like I could go all day. I felt like I had energy, for 10 more rounds, and I would just throw a volume fighter. But going pro, I couldn't do that anymore. I couldn't fight a 3-minute pace for 5 minutes. I would gas myself out, So it definitely was. The Contender Series was a shock to my system. My legs were completely gassed, especially as a pro. I hadn't gone a whole 5-minute round. Most I went was 4:30, I think. And so going into the second round, I didn't have legs, but it's like you just keep pushing because it's a Contender Series. You're on the biggest stage. I had the biggest opportunity of my life. So it's just like any movement that I can make, I'm just moving forward. I'm just, trying to throw. And you can see it when I look back and compare the two fights, my debut to the Contender Series. I looked gassed. I lost all technique I had out the window because in my debut, you can see it. Like, I feel like I still have structure in my striking. Even in the third round, I still have technique. And that's what I wish I would have looked like in the Contender Series. But I can't go back and change any of it. I took it on 10 days. So I was in the gym, but I wasn't doing 5-minute. Like, we weren't pushing the pace for 5 minutes. So it is different. But I don't regret taking it. Like, I am where I am because I just jumped on the 10 days notice. And, I think me making weight on 10 days notice showed Dana that, I'm here for it. Like, I'll do whatever it takes to be in the UFC, because that's what every fighter's trying to do, is do whatever it takes to be in the UFC. And that's what we're all striving for. So I think I got off topic there, but yeah,
That's okay.
Even before in my amateur career, I remember talking to my coach about this the other day. I hadn't even did any sort of competitions. He was like, I didn't do smokers. I didn't do like local tournaments. I just jumped in the cage and had my first amateur fight. So yeah, and then we just like kept rolling from there. I remember just fighting as much as I could. Even when I had surgery on my arm, I was back in the cage within like 4 or 5 months. And then after my Contender Series fight, I had like an 8-month layoff just waiting for the call. So that was the longest I've took off. And I'm hoping I can get back in before the end of the year, and not have to wait 8 months. So we're just waiting on the call. I'm going to, text my managers again soon and ask them if they heard anything. And so that I just want to fight. I've always been that way, even as an amateur. And I want to keep it that way in the UFC, just fight.
Right on. So I'm going to ask you a question that I've never asked a fighter, but I've always wanted to ask them.
All
and
right.
Since you're young in your career, I'm going to ask you, because I think you'll probably give me the most honest answer I could get. If I'm your opponent, tell me your weak spots.
My weak spots? Let me think. Probably, dang. I feel like I'm telling the world my weak spots. Like,
Listen, first of all, people that watch you fight and that know the fight game, they'll be able to pick up your weak spots.
You're right.
Yeah, so you're not telling people anything that they can't see with their own eyes.
Yeah.
But I want you to talk to me like I'm your next opponent. I'm Christina Rothstein. I'm Christina. I'm coming to fight you, girl. What do I got to do to kick your ass?
Probably have to get me down. I try my best to have decent takedown defense. I feel like I'm probably the worst. Like, if you can get me down, then I'm the worst on my back. Just like, I'm most vulnerable to submissions, but I think I'm better at takedown defense and all that, in cage takedown defense, everything. But if you can get me on the ground, then I feel like that's where I'm most vulnerable. Because I really try to be a scrambler and get back up as fast as I can. And I noticed in my last camp, my scrambling, I would be reckless with my scrambling, and I would get caught in submissions trying to on my way up. So that's one thing right now that is one of my weaknesses, is just being careless on scrambles and getting my neck snatched or something when I move really quick. So yeah, that's one of the things that I would tell Christina.
Hey, as I asked the question, I was waiting to see if you were going to go there, because again, so young into the sport, you know, I think it's easier to pick up striking and kicking. You know,
Yeah.
striking with your hands and kicking, and being able to sprawl and stop a takedown, but working off your back, I think, is probably the hardest thing to do in MMA, my
Yeah.
opinion. I think wrestlers are the most dominant athletes in MMA. So, get in the wrestling room, girl, and, work your wrestling and your jits. But I think, being a new fighter like you are, if I'm your opponent, that's the first thing I would think of.
Yeah.
All right, this girl's only been doing this for 4 years. I got to get her on her back. If I can get her on her back, I could probably beat her. And there's no shame in you admitting that, or your opponents or fight pundits thinking that, because you haven't had enough time. I mean, 9 fights in, as much time as you put in the training room, it's all great, but it's not the same on fight night as you figured out, for going from the training room to fight, because I'm sure in your time now, you've probably seen a couple people that are really good in the gym, maybe not your gym, but other gyms. And then they go to fight night and they're not as good as they were in the gym. Some people are just born gym fighters and they can't take it to the next level. And then somebody like you comes along. You start out and and I keep saying it and touching on it, but it really blows me away that you're in the UFC at this point. And I'm happy for you. It's cool. I like the influx of new talent. I like the fact that we don't know what we're going to see from you yet. Like I see it in my head, but it doesn't mean I'm right. Doesn't mean I'm wrong. But I like the unknown. I like the fact that you're a mystery to a lot of people still, and you probably will be for a little bit of time. So take advantage of that as well as you go on in your fight career. Be like, don't put out the videos of you doing good training. Only put out the videos of the goofy stuff from when you were younger, and people will just think you're some goofy girl from, the Midwest or something. And then they won't take you seriously. And then when you're standing over there going, oh, they realize they fucked up.
Right. That's the plan. Yeah. I know I'm constant, just like any fighter, I'm constantly trying to be a well-rounded fighter, work on my back, work wrestling, takedowns, all those things. If you watch any, all my fights, I did not shoot a takedown. My first amateur fight, I shot an accidental takedown. The girl was just coming at me and I just accidentally ducked under it and I had her legs and I just drove forward. So that one was an accidental takedown. But over the past year or two, my head coach, Aaron Phillips, has been, really driving that into me, just offensive, wrestling takedowns, stuff like that. So just in case we ever need them, because when Ernesto was the first, my first 15-minute striker that I could not, get the better of. So he just kind of put it in my head that if we ever face strikers that, because before that, I was the best striker in the cage on fight night. So when I'm not the best striker, if we need to shoot takedowns, then we want to have them there. But I shot 2 takedowns in my pro debut. Not my pro debut, my UFC debut. And I think I got 2 takedowns. So it was coming from somebody that swore she'd never shoot. I look back and I tell myself I'm proud of myself for just getting 2 takedowns. But of course, I'm excited. I'm like, I want to see how I do, like you said, in the fight when I'm on my back. It's like I have so many more, fights and opportunities that will happen because people will try to attack my weaknesses. This is a fight game. That's what I know. People are coming to get me down, in the future, the near future, and I'm going to do everything in my power to be ready for that. And I'm excited to see how I handle that, on come fight night when that does happen. Yeah. And all I can do is do everything I can to get ready for that moment and then try to execute. That's what I do in everything. Just try to execute. I don't want to be one of those fighters, just gym fighters that can only do it in the gym under no pressure. I've always told my coach, my coaches, that I want to be an executor. I want to execute when I get in there, be able to be calm enough to do that. And that's one thing I've noticed. My debut for the UFC, my last fight, Contender Series, I was so nervous. My ears were red. I couldn't breathe. Like my heart was beating so fast. For my debut, for whatever reason, I was so calm. And I remember telling myself, if I can build off this, I remember thinking that if I can build off this, be even calmer every fight, I can listen to my coaches more. I can trust my body more, muscle memory, as opposed to being tense and nervous. Because for the Contender Series, I felt like I had no control over my body. I couldn't listen to my coaches. I was just going. Before my fight, I feel like I can focus on my feints. For my debut, I can breathe, I can recover, and I can listen to my, it was just so different. And if I can only get better from there, just grow, then I feel like that's where the experience comes in. Because I used to say, oh, I don't need experience. Like, experience doesn't matter as long as I'm putting in the work. But, I'm starting to see that it does matter in that way, because you get used to being in those, high pressure situations, and you figure out how to handle the nerves the more you do it. I fought in Vegas both times. So I feel like the second time I fought in Vegas, it was familiar. It was, it wasn't so foreign to me. So I was able to, it was just a different feeling. I can't really explain it, as much as I would like to, but I definitely was so, not as nervous, and I hope that I can build off that. And that excites me, because if I can build off that and be, a fighter that fights calm, that's like some of the best in the world. Like, they don't even look like they're about to fight, it looks like another day in, the gym for them. And that's the point I want to get to.
Yeah. And you will, and that's the thing, one of the things, again, and I'm no coach, so, take my words however you want them, but I've been involved in this game for a long time. I've, talked to so many fighters, and I've learned a few things along the way. And I would tell you, work on your wrestling, work on your jits, enter as many grappling tournaments as you can enter, BJJ tournaments. It doesn't matter that you're in the UFC and you'll probably get tapped, by some yellow belts and some white belts as you do it. But it gives you, because in the gym, while they're trying to teach you, I don't know if anybody will go 100% on you on the gym. Not because of anything except that they're your teammate, they're a coach. And I don't know if any coach goes 100% on their student. That's just my take on it. I would say a lot of them go really hard, but in a jiu-jitsu tournament, your opponent is coming to beat you, so it gives you a little bit of that same vibe that you get from a UFC opponent. That person across the octagon is coming to beat you any way they know how. So in a grappling tournament, it's the same mindset, it's win or lose, you win, you go on, you lose, you go home, and that's the way it is. So I always tell young fighters to get into those tournaments and just grapple as much as you can, because it's such good experience. And again, because it's a real situation, not a gym situation. I think it adds to the helping your mental grow and being comfortable when you're on your back.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Cool. I plan to do some tournaments and stuff. I did one jiu-jitsu tournament so far. It was like a year ago. And then stuff is I was getting ready for camp and all that stuff, but I'm definitely planning on, especially if I don't get a fight anytime soon, I want to get a bunch of competitions in. So I'm planning on
and there's fighters out there like my guy Phil Rowe. He lives here in Orlando, Florida, which is a couple hours away from where I am in Tampa. I've watched him since he was an 0-2 pro. Right. And most guys, when they go 0-2 or 0-3, they don't even continue on to try to go to the UFC. And he never quit on himself. And now he's in the UFC, and he's in the welterweight division. He does well for himself. He hasn't won every fight, but, he's, he learns along the way and he gets better every single time. So, and you'll do the same thing. But he does grappling tournaments and he's getting paid in these grappling tournaments, like he gets paid to be there, and then he can win prize money as well. So, find those tournaments to get into. So, make a little cheddar while you're doing it. I mean, and maybe that'll also keep you motivated to do your best in it, because, if you're just getting a rinky-dink medal from some, Naga competition, while that's neat, the check makes me happy. You know what I'm saying? So, find those tournaments. Tell your coaches, get you in money tournaments, and then I would also tell you to cross-train, go to other gyms and train with some other superstars, if you can find them that are willing, like Jillian Robertson. She's incredible grappler and wrestler.
Where's that? Is that in Florida?
Yeah, she's in Florida. Yeah. She's in Port St. Lucie. I don't remember what gym she trains out of, but if you can ever get in touch with her and go learn from her and spend time with that girl, I highly recommend it. If you ever get time with Valentina, jump on that shit like quick.
Oh yeah, wouldn't turn that down.
No, I know you wouldn't. You'd be like, but would you be starstruck if it was Valentina? Would you be able to concentrate?
I try not to be starstruck because I try to put myself, I'm not Valentina, but for my like confidence purposes, when I was in the contender series, walking around seeing all the fighters that fought that weekend before or whatever, I was trying to, for confidence purposes, this is where I'm supposed to be. One day I'm gonna be just like them. They're not superstars, which they are, but I had to tell myself that for confidence purposes that I'm gonna be one of those people one day. So I try not to be starstruck by too many people, but I still am.
Yeah, this is one of the tournaments I was talking about. Submission Underground. Be cool for Carli to try out. That's where you can make money at that tournament. So that's one of the good ones. Thanks, Gaz.
Yeah.
Let's see. I have a question here from the audience. Here, we'll do this one. If you could fight anybody in the world, dead or alive, past or present, who would it be? Valentina.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'll let her head kick me. I don't care. Just video it. So we were in there together, but like crop out the video that me falling to the ground after she kicks me in the head. So but yes, Valentina for sure.
All right. So I've got my next guest sitting in the green room. I'm going to bring him in right now with you on the show because he's going to enjoy this. So Nate Maness, what's up, brother?
How's it going, man? How you doing?
Nate, this is Carli Judice. She's a rookie in the UFC. She just had her first UFC fight. So now the reason I brought Nate in here right now is because this is the end of our interview, Carli. And I'm going to do two things with you because Nate is here. Nate, give her the best advice you can give her as a rookie in the UFC.
Be exciting. I think that's what they're looking for.
Wait, what?
He said, "Be exciting."
Oh, be exciting. Okay. Yes.
He's cracking a joke. He's cracking a joke about it right now because he just finished his contract with the UFC. He's 5-2 in the UFC, right? Fought in 3 different weight classes in the UFC. Got 3 fight night bonuses in the UFC, and they didn't re-sign him because they said he wasn't exciting enough.
Wow, that's crazy.
So
that's part
be
of
exciting.
It,
be exciting.
Be exciting.
All right, I'll try to be extra exciting.
There you go. You'll be all right.
Now this other part, and the reason I brought Nate in is because he'll tell you what I'm about to tell you is the truth. Every time I bring a fighter on the show for the first time, I asked him to do something a little silly, a little fun, and I've had over 395 guests on my show over the years I've been doing this, 340 episodes in, and the thing I asked him to do, and nobody said no, and Nate's done it, right, Nate?
Yeah, I've done it.
I always ask them to sing for us.
That's a tough one. I could say, only song I really know is Happy Birthday. So
no, listen, I've had a couple of people cop out on me recently with Happy Birthday. So I know you have a walkout song or another song that you grew up with that even when you were a kid, and you don't have to sing the whole thing. I just asked for 10 or 15 seconds just for fun. Ooh. You could do a TV show song. You could do, I don't care if you're singing the theme song from the TV show Friends. I don't give a fuck. Just Happy Birthday's off the list.
All right, let me think. No, okay. I know SpongeBob SquarePants.
Do that.
But I only know SpongeBob SquarePants. That's it. If I go again,
who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
SpongeBob SquarePants.
All right, that's all you get. You got 3 and 3 more seconds with you helping me prompted.
Oh, I love it. Well, listen, Carli, it's been a pleasure chatting with you. I also tell you, I don't know how many interviews you've done prior to today, and shows like this, but you're a natural at this too. You have no problem talking, which is awesome, because people are going to want to talk to you. As you rise and climb the ladder, people are going to want to talk to you all the time. I'm going to keep you on my rotation list because I'm going to want to talk to you even more. And I hope you have a great night, a blessed night. I know you got to go train. Yep. Before you go, though, also give us all your social medias that you want people to follow you on so they could jump on Crispy Train.
Yeah, my just my Instagram. That's all I really got going right now. Crispy Carli J, and then it's pretty much just my Instagram right now. But thank you so much for having me on. It was a great time, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk. Like you said, the more I do interviews like this, I get more comfortable and and stuff in my story. So thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Like I said, I reached out to you a while ago, and I'm glad you finally got back to me because I've been wanting to get you on for a minute. So I'm glad we finally got you on.
I turned my notifications off on when I'm on fight week, and I forget to turn it back on. And I went and I saw what I missed. I was like, oh shit. So I'm sorry about that. I'm glad I got back to you.
No worries. I got the digits now in here, so we're safe now. So I don't even have to try to track you down on the social media. I got your phone number. I won't use it for anything but fight related stuff. Like I won't call you up and ask you how to make a meatloaf or anything. So
Oh yeah, don't call me about meatloaf. But if you want to learn how to make a cake or something, I'll call my sister and she'll tell me. Then I'll tell you.
I want to talk to Grandma, the real deal.
Oh yeah, that's some high quality stuff right there.
All right, well listen, guys, this is Carli Judice. You could follow her career on the UFC. It's Juicy Carli J. Is that right?
Not at all. Crispy Carli J.
Crispy Carli J. I don't know why I'm thinking. You know what it is? Because I'm thinking Juicy J. Julian Rosa. It's what popped in my head for some reason.
Sure.
All right, well listen, you have a blessed night. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us, guys. Follow her career. She's going to be a star.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Peace. Boys and girls, that was Carli, man. She's awesome. I don't know if you saw any of her interview, dude, but she's a natural just getting in front of the camera and talking. So she's in the UFC, 4 fights into her pro career. She got there after her third. She did a Contender Series fight and for her 4th pro fight, and then she got to the UFC. And she lost on the Contender Series and still got to the UFC.
Hey, that's impressive there.
Split decision. She had a really good fight. All right, so I saw the little mama there with you a minute ago. How's the little lady today?
Yeah, I feel like every time we do these interviews, Cassandra's gone, so I still got the little girl tonight.
That's okay. Even if Cassandra was there, you could always have the little girl come on. It's part of part of what you are, part of who you are. It's part of your life, so it's an important part.
For sure.
But she drives you to do the good things.
Yeah, I guess so. Sometimes the bad things too. She brings out everything in me, I guess.
All right, so I'm not going to screw around. I know you signed a contract somewhere. That's what I'm being told. So tell us about your garden.
Yeah, no, that's right.
I want to hear about your garden. We'll get to the other stuff in a minute, but I know you've been posting pictures of your garden, so I want to know about your garden and what you're growing.
Man, it's doing okay. I did a little bit better last year, but I was cutting weight for Jimmy Flick when I planted this year, and man, I just didn't have a whole lot of time for it with everything going on, the training, the running, the cutting weight. But it's doing pretty good. I got cucumbers that are doing pretty well. Normal tomatoes. I got romaine tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, butternut squash, cabbage, some different peppers. It's doing pretty good. I can't complain.
Yeah, I like it. I like that you're living a little bit off the land. Cucumbers, you said, came out good and all that stuff. Is there anything else that you would like to grow that you haven't tried yet?
We did potatoes this year. They did decently, but I definitely want to give it another shot. Maybe some watermelon, some different stuff next year. Maybe more fruit instead of vegetables. So just kind of playing around with it, and we'll see what happens.
Well, I saw in Japan, I don't know how they're doing it, but they're growing pineapple, not pineapple. They're growing square watermelons. Have you seen these things?
No, I haven't seen them.
Oh my God. Let me see if I can pull up a picture of a square watermelon on here, because I got to show you this, dude. It's friggin' insane looking.
Yeah, that's crazy. No, I haven't heard about it.
Yeah, they grow them in like tubes or something, or in like canisters. Images. All right, I got that. Now let's see. How do I do this again? Jesus Christ. Oh, present. Share screen. Window. Can you see that right there, dude? Square watermelon.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah. No, that's crazy, man. Yeah. They just grow them in tubes just to get them to make them look like that, I guess.
Yeah, I guess when they plant the seeds and everything, they grow them they plant them in a container so that they grow to the shape of the container. I only did a little research. I didn't do a lot of research. So, but maybe you should do that, man, or a different shape, figure out something else cool.
I did grow some watermelons last year, and I had like a vine kind of wrap around it, and it contorted and grew just like the vine was wrapped around it. So I mean, it's pretty easy to understand, I guess. You just got to kind of place it in the square tube.
Yeah, I mean, why not, man? Well, let's get these things going on, but maybe we'll find a different shape, like, a triangle, or
Something
something,
different. Yeah, yeah,
something
yeah. We can
different, or,
figure it out.
dude,
Yeah,
a lightning bolt.
there you go. I could probably build some kind of mold for it. I think it'd be all right.
So, where's the wifey this week? Out on a work trip?
Yeah, she just started a new job about 2 months ago, I guess, and they call it cohort. She's at training for her specific new job, so she's going to be there another couple. She's only there once every other week, and she graduates in September, so she'll be gone a couple of more weeks, but it's not too bad.
Well, the good thing about being a pro fighter is, not having a real job,
Yeah,
is the fact that you get to allow her the opportunity to do this, because if you had a regular job, this would be so difficult to do.
yeah, for sure. I don't know. It still feels difficult to me, but I know what you're saying.
Well, it feels difficult to you because you're raising a baby, and
Yeah,
let's just be honest. Most men, as much as they love their children, aren't equipped to take on a mommy type role this early on in the child's life.
yeah,
It's just the truth. It's not our fault. We're just genetically and DNA wise, that's who we are as men, man.
right, right,
We don't mind when mommy's home and we have to change a diaper, but when mommy leaves the house, all of a sudden we got to change diapers,
right.
plural.
Yeah.
It's a whole different ball of wax, so, but you seem to be handling it. I mean, you still got hair on your head.
Yeah, my girl's a wild animal too. Like I can probably, she's standing on the coffee table getting ready to jump into my lap. So she's just, man, she's all over the place, buddy.
I love it.
Yeah,
Is she
she's
gonna jump?
athletic. I think she's gonna jump here in a second. Yeah, she
Oh,
actually jumped on me last time I was on your show. I think I mentioned it. I kind of
yep.
and said she jumped on me, but yeah, she's gonna jump here in a minute.
Come on, mama, jump on daddy.
You coming? You gonna show him?
Jump.
Come on, you gonna jump? You can't deal with the pressure. Too much pressure.
Jump around. Jump around.
Come
I
on,
was
girl.
hoping she would jump. She'll
Yeah,
do it when you least expect it. She'll probably
Oh,
land
yeah.
on your nuts.
As soon as I'm talking about something serious, she'll land on my stomach or something like that for sure.
As long as it's the stomach and not the nuts, dude,
Yeah,
because.
there she went.
Oh, yay! Hold on, I got to clap my hand. That was beautiful.
Yay, good job.
Yay. Good job.
He's pretty athletic, man. I think she's going to be a good fighter.
Are you going to let her fight?
I'm going to put her in jiu-jitsu and kind of let it fall where it will. I'm not going to push her towards it, but I'm definitely going to put her in some kind of, self-defense, jiu-jitsu, something like that.
Why jits and not boxing or something?
Yeah, I plan on doing it all, but just to start off with, I'm going to put her in jiu-jitsu and kind of save the head damage for, later on if she's a teenager and wants to do it. But I don't feel like that's something I want her to do early. I think jiu-jitsu is the easiest way to have some real skills and not take too much damage to start off with.
Yeah, and then get her on the wrestling team so she can
Oh,
learn how
yeah.
to wrestle. Woo!
She's already wrestling with her brother. She's athletic. She can climb up and down the steps. And she's been doing that since she was 9 or 10 months old. So I think she's going to be a powerhouse, man. I think she's tough.
How's her vocabulary coming along? How old is she again now?
She's a year and a half now.
Okay. So,
Yeah, she can say quite a few words. Yeah, she knows mom and daddy and bite and different kinds of foods. And I think she's pretty advanced to be. It's my first kid, so it is what it is. I might be biased, but I think she's pretty advanced, and I think she's gonna do well. I'm happy about it.
Do you have her on any electronics yet, like a tablet or something?
Yeah, she has a tablet now. She just got that a couple weeks ago, so she's not completely into it, but she loves phones. She loves messing with the remote and turning the channels, and she's smart for sure. She gets that from her mama.
The tablet thing, like, I bought my grandson a tablet when he was, I want to say when he turned 2.
Yeah.
And this kid is stuck to this friggin' thing, man. So Don't give her a tablet, dude. Get it away now.
No,
Save
she
her.
pretty much only uses it whenever we're in the car. She doesn't use it at home. We keep her
She
pretty
will.
active, and
She will.
she'll try to. Yeah, she'll try.
She's going to. She wants that screen time. Once she figures out what that tablet can really do,
Yeah.
then that's where the battle comes in. Because like it's so hard. Like I asked my grandson to get up and come do stuff. No, I want to watch TV or I want to play on my tablet. And yesterday, mommy finally got him to go outside and jump around in the rain, like we're having a hurricane thing here, and we're out in our front yard, and he's jumping in mud puddles and just all filthy and disgusting, like little boys are supposed to be.
Right.
And honestly, this is how I know I'm old now, because I'm like, don't let him bring that fucking mud in my house. That's all I care about. I don't want no mud.
Right.
Whereas,
I understand that. I'm starting to lean towards that way. I don't know if I'm there yet, but I definitely feel like I'm headed that way.
Yeah, I think your little mom is going to be a mud jumper.
Oh yeah, man. She loves being outside. She loves getting dirty. Yeah, she's like the son I never had, for sure.
Well, speaking of that, are you and Cassandra, have you guys, and maybe I'm getting too personal here, but I've known you a minute now. Are you guys talking about maybe having another one?
I think this is it. She already has an 11-year-old boy. Yeah. And then I have Aubrey, and yeah, man, I'm probably gonna get get clipped once this fighting thing's over with. I think we're done with it. This is all I can handle, man. I'm soft or something. I don't know, but she's it. She's worn me out. I love her. She's worn me out.
Dude, and you have no clue what you're getting into now. She's a year and a half, man, and you're already.
Oh no, that's what I hear. So just from what I've seen now, I know I don't want any more, and I know it's just going to get worse. So that's just confirmation.
Maybe that's why the UFC didn't re-sign you, bro.
That could be it, man. I don't know.
He's soft. He can't handle one toddler. What's he going to do in a fight? I mean,
right? No, it's hard to disagree.
I'll tell you, man. This shit with you not getting re-signed, you've seen me. I've been vocal about it. I texted the match, or I tweeted the matchmakers. What's up with that? Of course they didn't respond to me, because who am I? To them anyway. Maybe I'm not exciting on the mic. I don't know, man. But I'm just baffled that they didn't re-sign you. But I'll tell you, the benefit is you've gained a lot of fans from this. Your social media, your digital imprint went up, man, on that one tweet.
Yeah.
Over 1 million impressions. I mean, that's a good number.
Yeah, I think it eventually got up to 1.7. I got 600 to 800 new followers, and I mean, most of the interactions, of course, you're going to have some trolls and this and that, or just not even trolls, just people with their own opinions, but 95% were, for me and didn't really understand what was going on. And that's just from Twitter, where I'm not super active. So those are definitely people I don't know.
Right.
The people that have followed me and, no bias or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, that was nice to at least hear. And, that they appreciate my work, even if the UFC doesn't. And that really meant a lot to me. Not just this many people seen it, but just the people that commented and were for me. And, yeah, it was definitely special for me.
Come here. Hold on a second. My grandson's getting ready to leave. Kiss.
Hey, what's up?
Hello.
What's up? How you doing?
Good.
His name is Nate.
Hello, Nate.
What's your name?
My name is JJ.
JJ, nice to meet you, buddy. There you go, taking the mic. Let's go.
Tell everybody, watch Cage Side with Christopher James.
Watch Cage Side with Poo Poo James.
Oh,
betrayal at the end.
Nice, James. That was on my show. You said you called me poo poo.
Betrayal at the end.
You're bad. Go away.
No, I can restart.
All right, do it again. Say, watch Cage Side with Christopher James.
Watch Cage Side with Christopher James.
That's what I'm talking about.
And with JJ.
And with JJ.
All right, go with Mom to pick up Grandma.
My name is Speed, and
Go. That's his little girl, yeah.
Oh, hi.
Say hey.
Aubrey. Say hi, Aubrey.
Hi, Aubrey.
You go away. Say hi.
She's
Be
smiling
shy.
at you. She's
What do you
cute, huh?
think?
Yeah. Hey, Aubrey, want this? It is
Is
a
that an
free
iPad?
tablet.
I told you, Nate, this thing never leaves his side. He's probably
I
gonna
know
have
that's right.
probably have a holster on it one day.
What do
Hey,
you
do
think,
you
girl?
want background?
All right, you gotta go. Gotta go pick up grandma. Love you, buddy.
Love you. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. I have him all day long. You guys can go out through the front. Yeah. I'm home, so I don't care. So that was probably the most cutest moment I've ever had on my show.
Nice. Like it.
Adorable little lad. Adorable little lad. Yes, he's my little lad. He's my grandson. He's the best kid in the world. He's a pain in my ass, but he's the best kid in the world.
That's just part of it.
Adorable meter through the roof for having the kids on the show. Forrest says blessings to you, brother.
Appreciate it.
Now I want to talk about this exciting thing. We got a little sidetracked there for a minute, and I feel I can be honest with you. So here's my honesty. Are you the most exciting fighter in the UFC? No.
Yeah.
Are you exciting enough to be in the UFC? 100%. That's how I feel. I think the most exciting fighter in the UFC for me is Max Holloway. He's always that guy. Every single fight, that's just what we get. It's not a shot. It's not to shit on anybody else that does what they do, but I think for me, Max Holloway is the most exciting fighter because you just never know what's going to happen with that dude. He's just so fucking. He's only 32 years old, dude. How old are you?
I'm 33.
And he's been in the UFC forever.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy. I was thinking about it today. I was telling Carly. I looked up his age today because I couldn't remember if he was 32 or 35. I said, I think he's 32. And I looked it up. He was 32. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, how many fights has this kid had in the
I think he was 18 when he came in, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, yeah. He's figured it out how to be technical and exciting. I think that's something that we all kind of struggle with, but he's got it down.
He really does. He definitely has the formula figured out, and he's lived with it for his whole career. The only thing, and I said this to Carly as well, I don't know if Max Holloway can get any better. I don't know if he can evolve any more than he's already evolved. And that's not a shot at him either, because he's fighting for a title. I mean, he's for another title. I mean, this is like his fourth title shot, trying to get back to that championship. Let's see. Tapology will tell us how many fights he's had in the UFC. He's had 29 fights in the UFC.
It's a lot.
And when was his first fight in the UFC? Jesus Christ, you have to go way back here. His first fight in the UFC was he lost to Dustin Poirier in his debut in 2012. So he's been in the UFC for 12. So he's been there since he was 1920.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. He's different. He's special.
Oh, he is special. You're special too, because even though you're not the same type of fighter as Max, nobody is. You are special because you did achieve, whether you end up back there or not, you achieved something that there's so many out there that wish they could. You made it to the biggest world, organization in the world for mixed martial arts. That list is always going to be short of who actually got there, and you had success there too, so it's not like you got there and you didn't have success. You have a winning record there. You get the fight night bonuses. You fought some guys that nobody else wanted to fight. So you are special. So, never think that you're not, because, you're like Max special. Max is special. It was almost like you were saying Max special. I'm not. And you are, and anybody who makes it to the UFC, special. Whether they stay or not, it doesn't matter. You were special enough to get there, and getting there is the hard part. Staying there is the harder part. Going back there is the hardest part. So again, we talked about this. I'm really just disappointed that they didn't take you back. But it's their loss, I guess. So you and Pat kind of made it seem to me like you've got a new home. So let's talk about it. What's going on there, Nate? Drop the news.
Man, I don't have a contract signed yet. We got in some papers. some things that needed to be changed that we had initially agreed upon. I'm not saying that it's any bad on the organization, just some words need to be changed around and things like that. So we're still officially not signed with anyone. I don't want to drop that, but I can tell you at least the three that we're down to, if that would be a secondary.
Oh man.
Yeah.
On Pat's ass. Pat, are you watching, Pat? Why are the paperwork done, Pat? You knew he was coming on the show tonight, Pat. What the fuck, Pat?
He just texted me about the contract too, talking about some things that we got to work out. So yeah, but we are down to BYB Extreme Fighting, the bare knuckle place. Yeah, we're down to Fight Night. They're a Canadian promotion. They're actually having a show. They're trying to secure the Staples Center there in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I actually, I'm talking. Well, Pat told me about it. I might actually have a key out there doing some color commentary.
Yeah, I think he's matchmaking for him right now. I think that's a new gig that he's got. And we're down to BKFC too. So those are the three finalists. We will be signing with one of those. I just don't want to drop it too soon.
Well, I find it that Fight Night is a mixed martial arts company, correct?
Yes.
So, you have an MMA company out there, and then you have two bare knuckle organizations out there. Is it more important for you to stay in MMA, or is it now just about making the most money?
I'm going to be competitive wherever. I'm still putting in the work. I still want to succeed. I still want to win. I don't think either one, is any different than the other. Like, and this is another big thing with the contract that we're going to sign when everything gets right. It's going to be non-exclusive, so I can bounce around. I can go and do new things. I can have new challenges.
Mike Perry's
perform different weight classes. I'm 33 years old. I feel like I've made my mark. The UFC is where it's at. I'm not going to be back there. I think they've made that pretty clear. And not that it's just all about fun and just, screwing around like some guys do. I'm still young enough. I still want to win. I still want titles. I'm still putting in the work every day. I'm going to be fighting at 125 still. I'm still going to be dropping the weight. So, you got to be focused to be able to do that. But yeah,
that takes BKFC off the table.
For what? For the 125?
125, because they don't have 125s.
Oh no, they John Dotson's their
that's
title
right.
holder.
Dotson is their 120. No, 125. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking something else. I forgot Dotson was there at 125 because there's not a lot of 125ers there.
Right. Yeah.
Here's a suggestion.
Yep.
Nate, make some extra cash at Karate Combat, Submission Underground, and BKFC, man. That's your gamut right there, man. Run those three all year long. You'll stay busy making cheddar. Karate Combat looks like a lot of fun, dude.
Right. No, it does. And that non-exclusive was a big deal to me. That's one of the, the hard points that we can't really negotiate with, even for like local MMA shows around here. I want to come and perform in front of my fans. But even if it's at 45, 55, I just want to be able to do fun things, but still be competitive, still be working hard. But, get in everything I can while I can. 33, I want to put on shows in front of my fans and still work for, world titles and things like that. So I'm excited where we're at. I think it's going to be good.
Well, because I reached out to Pat and I were talking on messages back and forth, and I'd also thrown out the name for Game Bred Bare Knuckle MMA. Yeah. And I reached out to Dean. I haven't heard back from him yet, but Dean's super busy. We got a show coming up this Friday. He's just coming off the Nate Diaz or a Masvidal fight that he was invested in 24 hours a day for like the last year before it even got to fight night. So I think he's resting his brain a little bit before he starts making decisions. But the good thing is that you're doing what you're doing so you can go fight BKFC. And then if you wanted to go fight Game Bred Bare Knuckle, you could. And you're setting yourself up the right way right now at this point in your career. Because I'd like to see you compete there.
Yeah, we reached out to him. We just hadn't heard anything back. And, we're trying to have a fight this year. So we're just trying to move things along. But like you said, the non-exclusive, I'm still open to that. That definitely seems like a fun thing to do, the MMA bare knuckle. So, yeah, I'm definitely open to it.
Yeah, the only way, like, I would say the non-exclusive would have to be paused. Like, let's say with BKFC, let's say you went over there, you became the BKFC 125-pound champion. I think at that point, you can't do anything else. You have to stay there and defend the title. You can't go, because if you go anywhere else and you take an L, you damage the stock, of a legitimate title. People are talking about Mike Perry damaging his stock at BKFC.
Right.
He's the king of violence guy. He doesn't have a world title.
Yeah.
They created that title for him and the Eddie Alvarez fight. Nobody else is going to get that title. That's Mike's. But if he was like the 185-pound champ, I wouldn't want to see him bouncing around as your promoter. So if I'm Dave Feldman and you're my champion, I would ask you, all right, look, I know you got the non-exclusive with us and we signed it, but as long as you're holding our belt, we ask that you just fight for us. If you lose the belt, you want to go take another fight, go take another fight. And
I don't disagree with you at all. I know Dotson bounces around to Ryzen. But yeah, I feel the same way you do. I wouldn't want my my title guy going and losing some fight to a nobody on accident, and then you're trying to promote him. I definitely understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, and that's the business side of it, and like I posted a question. I don't know if you saw on my Facebook. I posed a question today about after 4 losses, should it be made? Should you be mandatorily cut from the UFC? Some people had some good responses to it, saying, well, what if you were fighting 4 world-class guys in a row, back to back to back to back?
Yeah,
and reality, nobody fights 4 of the top guys back to back to back to back to back. Just, it doesn't happen. So if it does happen, okay, I get it. But that just says to me, even more so, if you fought the top 4 guys in your division, Nate, and you lost those 4 fights in a row, that says to me that you're not going to get past. I just gave you 4 of the best guys in the world. You couldn't get past them. So what am I keeping you around for? Why am I holding your roster spot? And that's just me. If I'm the promoter, I'm like, I gave him the 4 best guys in the world to prove himself. He lost. What else can I do with you?
Yeah, the UFC has come out and said that. If you're not a potential title challenger, like what are you doing here? We're only raising champions. So I mean, if you're talking about a competitive architecture, I don't think that's a bad take at all. Is the UFC about competitive architecture? That's where you're off. Like they're about excitement, from what I understand.
I mean, somebody commented on that post and said, the UFC doesn't care if they have to roll you out in a wheelbarrow. If you sell tickets, you're in the octagon.
That's it. Yeah. And that's coming from Dana's mouth, saying that, if you can't compete for a title, you don't belong here. I don't think Tony Ferguson's competing for a title anytime soon. Nope. I mean, I could just ramble off, 6 or 7 guys.
You rambled off one the other night. My boy SD fought him. What's his name?
Dennis Tillian or something like that. And and it's not Dennis personal, Dubulin. But this is just the way it is.
Yeah, I don't see him being able to stay in the UFC at this point. He just lost another fight. He's got to go.
Yeah, and they took Daniel Lacerda in my own weight class. He was 0-5. I don't know what we're still doing here. You know what I mean? If that's what Dana said, the head guy. If you stand behind what you said, I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. There's a lot of things they do that don't make sense to me. And, I'm not in their business meetings. I'm not in their rooms. I'm not there when they're matchmaking Mondays or matchmaker Tuesdays, whatever the fuck day they do it on. Yeah. But, I do, after all these years, sometimes they just do some things that just baffle me, Yeah, I mean, what kind of asshole did Muhammad Mokaev have to be to get kicked out of the UFC at 7-0?
I don't understand that one, man. And Dana's had to have had hard guys to, make deals with and communicate with. And
the Diaz brothers, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. This guy's number 6 in the world. You know what I mean? There's not too many 125ers that are going to hold a light to him. And if we're talking about competitive architecture, there's nothing that gets him dismissed. You have to have that guy in there. And this is from someone in his weight class that would, I mean, I'd love to fight him and stuff, but he's a great fighter. I mean, he's good at what he does.
He is good at what he does. But, there was a rumor running around that he was talking with the PFL prior to his fight at UFC 304, which was the last fight on his contract, trying to use that as leverage against the UFC. And the UFC found out about it. And that was one of that they said that was the final straw. Then his manager came out and said that that's not true, that they weren't negotiating, but maybe maybe, just maybe Mikhaev went rogue and reached out to them on his own without management knowing. Wouldn't be the first time a fighter's done something like that, or any pro athlete has done something like that, just to have a conversation with somebody. But then, Ray Sefo the other night after PFL said that they don't want to deal with him. He's a pain in the ass, So I mean, so that guy, more shocking than your situation to a degree. I mean, 7-0 now. PFL doesn't even want to fuck with them. And I surely thought, if he was talking to them, if the rumor was true, why wouldn't they want to have him? So, I think the only options left for him are Ryzen or One.
Yeah, and that's a little surprising. He's denied all this on Twitter. I've seen him going back and forth.
He even he'll take his next fight for free. He'll fight for free for the UFC.
I'm not that desperate. Yeah, I'm not that desperate. But and I mean, to be dealing with PFL, who only has a 145 division at that.
Well, Bellator.
Bellator would at 135. They have a division.
PFL-ator, if you will. Like
yeah. And I mean, you really don't know what's going on behind closed doors. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me to reach out, to move up to 35, and I guess maybe fight at Bellator, where all those guys seem to be, kind of on ice right now anyway with the merger. Doesn't make sense to me, but maybe they know more than I do.
What about promotions like One and Ryzen? Have you guys reached out to them and see if there was any interest there? Because they have smaller weight classes.
Yeah, we reached out to One. I think they said they had interest, but then we hadn't heard anything back from them. We're just trying to get something going. I'm not getting any younger, so I can get this new deal, rep out the fights, and then we can talk again or something. But I want to be back this year. I kind of want to remind the UFC, that who they let go, and get my fans that have supported me through all this, get them some action, try to be a little bit more exciting maybe, and want to be there in the end if that's what it's supposed to be. We're just trying to get some action right now.
So I know you're a little salty about it because you feel like you've done everything right. Like I said, I mean, for me, you're a promoter's dream kind of fighter. You fought in 3 different weight classes for us. Thank you so much. You got 3 fight night bonuses. Thank you for giving us fight night bonuses. That means you were exciting and entertaining in your fight. Hey, and
allegedly,
and you took fights against guys that nobody else wanted to take. Thank you for being you. That's what I would say to a guy like you. Because to me, that's a promoter's dream. That's the kind of fighters I want to work with,
Yeah.
So never say no to a fight. I mean, I just don't get it. So I know you're salty right now because you've done everything right, and you see guys in there that aren't doing everything right or are on, ridiculous losing streaks, and they're still there. So let's say you go out and you have 3-4 fights outside of the octagon. They call you back and they want you to come back. Do you go? Or do you tell them to, piss off, because they had you and they disrespected you and let you go?
Yeah, I think it's a personal thing. I've kind of talked a little bit about it on certain interviews. I don't know if I have on your show or not.
Nope.
Between me and one of the matchmakers, it won't be easy to figure out who it is, but I won't say any names. I asked for an arena. He had a hard time with that. I mean, kind of blew it way out of proportion. I'd already fought, 6 times in the Apex. I wanted to fight in front of my friends and family like any fighter would. And then I had a 18-year-old teammate. We're having gym talk. He gets a little upset at this said matchmaker, actually messages him on Instagram. The matchmaker sees it, which is crazy in my own eyes. You got to have millions of fighters, sending out messages to these matchmakers looking for a fight.
I'm sure.
So then it gets even more personal. Really had nothing to do with me. We've corrected that problem. I think it's a personal thing. I don't think we're going to get that call. And I mean, honestly, I feel a little disrespected. So I'll just say it on your show. I don't think so. I don't think this bridge is going to be mended. I think we're good where we're at.
Well, that's cool. And that, got to stand on business and, what you believe in sometimes. And, that's just the way it is. But so you said you probably wouldn't go back, but if they did call and you didn't go back, would you feel some kind of redemption if they made the call, even if you didn't go back? Would that redeem you somewhere inside a little bit?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if redemption's the word. Maybe they just understood what they did. I feel like I did everything I was supposed to do. I really can't look at my performances and say I messed up here or there. I feel like I did my job, especially if we're talking about competitiveness and, outside of the social media, Sean O'Malley type stuff. I feel like I showed up. I made weight every time. I showed up on short notice. Anything you asked of me, I feel like I did. So, man, I really don't care.
1.7 million views on a Facebook post, and Nate isn't entertaining. It's ridiculous. They messed up big time not having Nate back. I think that's a general consensus of everybody who's heard your story now. So, and I'm guessing that's got to make you feel good that so many people, screw the trolls and the haters. But that so many people are like, yeah, why isn't this guy in the UFC? It just means
Aljamain Sterling mentioned me on the MMA Hour, talking
I
about
heard
that. I have more bonuses than he does, and he has triple the fights. So, I mean, just to hear from people that I respect and look up to, it means more than UFC offering me anything that they could offer me.
Yeah, I get it, man. I totally understand. So, did you watch the fights this weekend?
I did.
What'd you think of Sandhagen and Umar?
I thought it was about as a high level fight as you can get in the UFC. Mixing it up, takedowns, grappling, striking. I actually picked Sandhagen to win. I didn't know how Umar's cardio would hold up in 5 rounds. It looked like he got a little tired his last fight. But man, he looked great. Does his thing. He's the best. He's good.
He really is. And I picked him to win. There was a lot of people that said Sandhagen was going to win this walking away. But I picked Umar because I think Umar is a lot more well-rounded than people give him credit for. And, my take on that fight, first of all, the fact that Corey Sandhagen was able to stay off the ground the way he did and, defending all the takedown attempts and whatever that Umar tried to throw at him and he couldn't get it in. He never secured anything, really.
Yeah.
Hats off to Sandhagen because nobody's been able to do that to Umar.
No.
And hats off to Umar because he stood and he struck. And I believe he outlanded Sandhagen over the course of the whole fight.
Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't expect to see that, and he won, what was it, 4 rounds to 1, right? I mean, I think that was a scorecard.
Yeah, I think
so. What a performance. And now he's next, he's just next. There's no denying it now. Merab and Sean will fight. I'm taking Merab to win that fight. What about you? Who you taking that fight?
I think Sean's going to catch him. I just think his striking's a little too good. And I think he showed a lot in the Aljo fight too. I know they weren't clinched up very long, but as somebody as big and strong as Aljo is, Sean kind of pushed him off, held his own against the cage. I don't think Merab can hold him down if he does get him there. He's kind of a spam takedown artist more than just to hold you down and, keep you there. 5 rounds is a long time to keep Sean on his back without him landing. I lean more towards Sean. I actually favor Umar a little bit more than Merab just because he brings that striking with him.
All right, so you guys out there that are gamblers, put all your money on Merab because Nate just picked Sean O'Malley.
I know that's right.
if you guys follow Nate, other than myself, he might be the worst picker in UFC fights out there today. And
we're definitely there.
I'm bad at it. My boy Forrest Dan is pretty good at it. So he does well. I study this game. I watch this stuff. I just make the wrong picks. I don't know. Sometimes I just go with my heart rather than, the picks. And then on the nights when I do pick the favorites, they fucking all lose. It's like, fucking, what the fuck, man? I can't catch
I'm the same way. Fighting's a hard thing to understand, man. I feel like I know it the same as you. And then you pick it and you're 100% confident in it, and it goes completely the opposite way, man. I think that's what makes it exciting, too.
Well, the good thing is right now you can bet on UFC fights again.
Oh, and I have been. I've been losing all kinds of money. It's great.
You're not supposed to be losing the money though, dude. You gotta fucking what you gotta do. Maybe just go with Forrest picks because Forrest picks better than both of us. I know he reaches out to you on Facebook.
Yeah.
He's got a few people that I know. He's like you and me and Blake Grice, a referee. he's got some people that he really likes to talk to, and that's cool. I like him. He supports the show. He supports you. He supports Blake. He supports a lot of fighters.
Yeah.
But he makes good picks, dude. He always winning the Tapology contest. So, here's another person said Karate Combat. Go to Karate Combat. Have you guys reached out to President Awesome and all those guys?
We haven't reached out to him. That was for some reason, like I've seen them getting pretty big and things like that. They just honestly just kind of slipped my mind when we were in negotiations and sending out feelers and things like that. But I'm not against it at all. I know they're doing great things over there.
Yeah, and also I don't know when they're going to start, but Mike Perry just started a new promotion called Dirty Boxing Championships. So it's a hybrid of boxing and like Muay Thai a little bit, I guess would be the best way to describe it. No kicks though. So it looks really interesting, continuation of like you and I are fighting and I drop you. I can continue to pound you. I just have to stay on both my feet. Both my feet have to remain on the canvas to continue to punch you on the ground. I like that. It's going to add an interesting element to it. So who knows? Maybe those guys, but I don't know when their first show is, and I don't know. I don't know if they'll get one off before the end of the year. So you want to go now? Yeah, Pat, if you're watching, reach out to Karate Combat, man. Fucking President Awesome. That guy's awesome. He choked the corner out a couple of weeks ago.
I do follow him on Instagram, and I did see that, man. It's pretty crazy.
He choked the dude out. I was fucking laughing my balls off. Fucking promoters aren't supposed to be out there doing that, but he just jumped right out there and put that guy in a strangle. Of course, he also did it when he had a bunch of security around him. He didn't really approach the guy till he had security around him. So
I did see that. He took his opportunity.
He took his opportunity, he ran with it, and he scored the choke.
Nice.
Any fights coming up that you're looking forward to?
Definitely the Sean and Marab, Aljamain and Eliav, however you say his last name, Movzar. That's an interesting fight to me. Some people might think it's boring, but I am too. So I'm looking forward to that one. Man, I'm interested. I know they came out and said Ankalaev has a different fight other than Pereira. So I'm interested in who Pereira is going to have up next. I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah, who could they book him with right now?
Yeah, man, I'm not sure. I don't know if maybe he's dipping his toes in at heavyweight. Maybe that could be a guess. I don't know if it's the best guess, but definitely a guess.
He right now. Alec Pereira is the face of the UFC right now. He is Mr. UFC. And obviously, if and when Conor comes back, which more and more every day goes by, I feel less and less confident that he's coming back. So, but if he comes back, he's the face. But if you don't come back, Alex is the face. But, and Alex wants to fight for the heavyweight title. And I get it. He's 36 or 37 years old. He knows his time in this game is not long. And if he can accomplish that triple champion feat, two things will happen. First, he'll go down as one of the greatest to ever do it. He'll elevate himself into the GOAT list ahead of a lot of guys that we would be shocked that he would pass right now. But it would piss off Conor McGregor because Conor McGregor couldn't do it.
I know, that's right. It will do that. Yeah, I can see that.
I can totally see that. Conor would be having an aneurysm. Jana, give me a fucking fight with anybody. Give me the welterweight title shot. Come on. I'm the double champ. I do what I fucking want.
If he comes back and beats Michael Chandler, I could definitely see him at least asking for the 170 shot, especially with Bilal there now.
Oh yeah, of course. It's set up right now for him.
Yeah.
But I don't think he could beat Bilal. So
I don't think so either.
Bilal
Not at this point.
Bilal manhandled him the same way he fucking did Leon,
which was super impressive the way he did it.
So many people picked against him. I picked him to win. That was the only fight I got right on that main card that night. Every other fight on that main card, I fucking got wrong. I was so pissed off, but I got that one right. And there were a few fights on that card I was really excited. Like I wanted to see Curtis Blades win so badly.
Yeah, I was for Curtis as well.
I was so upset when he lost.
Yeah.
I'm one of the people that think they stopped it a little early. I understand why they stopped it. I still think,
I can see both ways. Yeah.
And I still think in a title fight, you give the guy a few more punches. He's a heavyweight. He know what he signed up for.
Yeah, I agree.
So Max and Topuria coming up too. That's going to be a fucking awesome fight. What's your take on that one?
Man, I'm a big fan of both.
What
Yeah, I
now?
know that's right. Man, Max has never been put down, man. I don't think there's any reason to, bet against him now. I think he's just going to kind of touch him up, do his thing, be long, good footwork. He's not bouncing around like a TJ Dillashaw, but he's always in the right spot at the right time. It's hard to pick against Max. Even if he was going up against Volk for the 4th time, it's hard to pick against Max. He's just that guy.
Yeah. I don't know if I ever want to see him fight Alex again. Like everybody's got their kryptonite, and it seems like Alex is his kryptonite. It's the one guy,
Yeah.
So what do? But it worked out for Max that he gets another shot at featherweight gold. And I think he beats Topuria. I just do. I think, Topuria doesn't understand, and Topuria's a good fighter. He became the champion. I mean, he beat Alex clean. But his resume leading up to Alex isn't overly stellar to me. When you look at
I thought he was losing to Alex too when he did. I mean, it's only what matters is what happens at the end. But I feel like he was getting touched up a little bit. Alex was moving around. He may lose that fight if it goes to a decision. I think Max is just going to do that extra, and he's just going to put it on him. Too much pace, too many strikes, too much volume.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I said, his resume coming up to the fight with Alex wasn't overly stellar. And you look at Max's resume of who's who. I think Max has one of the best fight resumes I've ever seen in my life. I was looking at today, Fight Bananas. We shared it on the Fight Bananas Facebook page, and I was just like, I forgot a couple of them,
Yeah. No, he's fought everybody. Yeah.
Hi, Aubrey.
Say hi. Go wave. Go wave.
Yay!
You'll be shy.
Bah.
What's you think?
I love her cheeks.
Yeah, she's got her mama's cheeks.
Mama's cheeks and daddy's attitude about athletics. It worked out well.
She's got my ears too. They're just hidden behind this hair.
Why did you do that to her, bro?
So I'm be telling all of her boyfriends too. You don't want this girl. This is my girl.
Man. Damn, Nate's already got the plan for boyfriend and shit laid out. That's good. That's good being a good girl dad though. Get that shit laid out early. Right. Get her college fund started. Get the boyfriend booting plan started.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, listen, my brother.
Yep.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying she's gonna hate me when she gets older. So I'm enjoying these cuddles now because I'm stopping all the boy stuff.
That's it. Hey, that's what you have to do as a girl dad, man. You got to make sure that if any little boy is going to get near my girl, they better be worthy.
Yeah.
And nobody is. So,
purple belt minimum, nothing under.
What now?
I said you got to have at least a purple belt to date her, nothing under.
I like it. A purple belt. Well, that's because she'll probably be a brown belt, so she'll be okay.
She'll be close, yeah, for sure.
Well, listen, my brother, I appreciate you taking the time to talk about this. I know it's not, it's probably a conversation you're not really wanting to have with people, because it sucks to have to talk about, losing your job and getting fired for doing your job. So it's really, it's shitty to talk about, but we won't talk about it anymore. We're only going to talk about the future.
Support makes it a lot easier. I mean, just the support I've gotten, it could have been a lot worse. I'll say that.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse, but people have your back, and they see what's right is right. So, fuck it. I mean, you just move on to the next chapter, right?
Yep, that's it.
That's it. All right, bro. Well, listen, you have a wonderful night. Aubrey, it was great to see you. Thanks for jumping over onto the couch.
Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye, little mama. She's like, yeah, whatever, dude.
Right.
I even tried to do the peekaboo. Didn't work on her.
She's super shy.
My grandson kept her attention, though. I should.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she loves kids. Yeah. She likes that.
He's gone, though. So, all right, my friend. Well, listen, you have a great night. Tell the wifey I said hello. You guys got any Florida plans coming up anytime soon?
We're not sure what we're doing for our anniversary in January. That's when we usually come down. Right. So I'll definitely keep you updated.
Yeah, man. I might be homeless by then, but it's okay. I got a nice Nissan Rogue. We can all eat dinner in. Fucking, I'll get some
Fair
spam
enough.
and 4 forks. 5 forks. You got the kid. I forgot.
I'd help you out, but I'm jobless, so you know how it goes.
Well, technically, I'm jobless too, man. So, I mean,
There
you
you
know,
go.
this is a job. I'm just not making any money with it yet. So, but you have a
Just
great
in
night.
time. Yep.
I will
Yep.
talk to you soon. And keep us updated. As soon as you get the information, let me know.
Will do, bro. Thank you.
All right. Be well, man.
You too.
Peace. He was there a second ago. I hear noise. There he is, my dude, OSP. What's up, baby?
Not much, man. How you doing?
Oh, I'm so happy to see your smiling face, bro. That's how I'm doing.
Likewise. It's been a while, Chris.
Been a long time, bro.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
you know, I was sitting there and, you know, I hadn't seen, you know, a fight announced for you in a while. And then all of a sudden, they announced you're fighting Ryan Spann. And I was like, I posted about, I was like, this was not on my bingo card, but I'm fucking liking this fucking fight. And I reached out to Eric. I was like, Eric, I got to get Vince on the show. We got to get Vince on the show, man. Fucking. And 2 reasons. 1, because I want to talk about this fight. But 2, because fucking I just ain't seen you in so long, man. It's been a long time. How's
Yes,
everything
sir.
going?
Everything good, man. I can't complain. Life is good. Family's good, so I can't complain.
Yeah. When you say family, like, tell me about what family you're talking about. Wife,
and
kids?
good. Yeah.
How many kids you got now?
Two.
Jeez. When did that happen? I don't even remember that happening.
Man, it happened for a while. It's just, just life, man. After a while, life. It's just, something I always wanted. I always wanted a family. So, yeah, it's good. So I can't complain.
So we got boys, girls, one of each. What do we got
Boys.
going on?
Yeah, 2 boys.
2 boys. All right. I like it. Fighters in training, football players in training.
Something. Everybody telling me they're athletes, so
How old are they?
Huh?
How old are your kids?
Are they both 2?
Okay. So this is something I like. They're twins?
Yeah.
Oh, that is awesome.
So,
Twin little boys. What are their names?
Ethan and Hendricks.
I like it, man. Which one's the bully?
Don't know. They both about the same. Can't complain. They both about the same.
Yeah. One
Yeah.
doesn't push the other one around?
Nah, not necessarily.
Ah, that's good. Most of my friends that have had twins always tell me these stories about one of the twins being a little bit of a bully to the other twin. Still like their best friend, but the one twin was always in control, they said. Always had the control. So it was like, you know, I wanted to see if your kids were exemplifying that yet or exhibiting that behavior yet.
Okay. Nah, it's cool, but everything's good, man. I can't complain about that, man. So training camp just actually just got through training right now. So that's like, yeah, it was a good training session.
And you're still training at KMMA?
Yeah, I am.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I'm so glad that you're still there. That's just your home for life right there, man. And what a cool school.
Oh yeah, man. It's come a long way. Like even the facility we're on right now, I'm like, man, compare this from like when we started at to like now, it's crazy. It's crazy. But
Is this a different facility than the one I went to?
yes, definitely.
Oh,
definitely.
how big is this one?
Shoot. Probably 20,000 square feet.
Holy crap, you guys really have elevated that thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to make a trip.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you how many people are in the gym now. I know we probably 350, 400 members. Like they're doing pretty good. They're doing really good.
That's awesome. And you know, part of that success has to be attributed to you.
I would maybe.
I think it's fair. I mean, you know, you train there, you've established yourself, you know, from the Strikeforce days to your UFC career. And you know, you've had a super stellar UFC career, a long career. I think it's 29 total fights, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, 29. Is it 29 total fights? I think it's 29 fights. And I want to say I have.
Oh, it's 27 fights.
27. If it's 27, then yeah, it's 27 fights. Then 25 of those fights been at light heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, 25 of those fights been at light heavy.
That's crazy, man. Like I didn't, you were always a guy that, like there earlier in your career, you were fighting all the time. If they needed a fighter, they called OSP. I mean,
Yeah.
OSP showed up. So even though it shouldn't be surprising to me that you've had this many fights there, because of how you fought earlier in your career, it's still just kind of, when I looked at the number the other day, it just kind of blew me away. I was like, man, that's so many fights. And
It
you
is.
don't think about it.
I don't. It is a lot of fights. Like it's crazy. Even the 2 fights that I had at heavyweight, like literally, I think about those 2 fights because I tell people like probably 2 fights ago I should have had both because my last fight I just had the most fight in the light heavyweight division,
Right.
and 2 fights ago I should have had the most fights in the heavyweight division because the thing about having fights or fighting that much, I tell people too, like you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Sometimes it works out for you, sometimes it don't work out for you. And in my case, like the 2 fights I had at the heavyweight division, it was it wasn't fights that I was necessarily getting ready for. I was actually cutting weight, getting down to the light heavyweight division, and hey, look, your opponent pulled out. What do you want to do? And I'm like, bro, look, I done put I was like, I done put work into this camp and whatnot. And they're like, well, we don't have anybody at light heavyweight, but you can take a fight at heavyweight. And me, you're just like, all right, cool, I'm game. And I mean, those 2 fights too, like they were a learning experience at light heavyweight. I mean, at heavyweight. But I told myself, I was like, I don't think I want to do that again. Especially like with me, like I think when I fought Ben Rothwell, I was walking around like 238. Like
Right.
literally, I stopped doing everything. I was literally, I think when I got the phone call, I was like at 225. And I was like, let me just kind of eat what I want. And I was still doing, and I was just like, okay. When I weighed in with clothes on, and I weighed in at like 238. And I was like, okay, cool, I'm good. And the fight happened. I remember dropping him twice. I dropped him twice, and he got back up. And I looked at him. I was like, oh man, you got to be kidding me. It was crazy about it. I dropped him twice. And my next fight was that light heavyweight division. I felt like I just barely grazed somebody. And, he face planted on the canvas. So,
It's crazy, man.
yeah, heavyweights, people are like, well, they can move pretty fast. And I'm like, man, I'm a numbers person. And they throw 50 punches. Those 50 punches, at least more than half of those punches supposed to land. And they
Right.
hurt a lot.
Oh yeah. Oh, being up at heavyweight's a whole different animal up there, man. And it's just so crazy. But out of all the divisions, jumping from light heavy to heavyweight, that's the one where you feel the power the most dramatically, where you just all of a sudden boom. I've got people commenting here, and I was going to bring this up myself. OSP is the master of the Von Flue choke. Judice pulled that submission off so many times in the UFC. And then following that one, my matchmaker at Island Fights, where we have a show this weekend, this Friday night in Pensacola, it's Island Fights 84, kids. But Devin Adams said, I'm pretty sure they changed it to the St. Preux choke. Have they officially changed it yet, dude? Because I think if you've got more than him, it should be your name.
Well, he's the one Jason Von Flue is the one that actually did that choke. And then and when he did it, I kind of patented it. But the thing about it is, early on in my career, people knew who Jason Von Flue was. But then after that, it's crazy because, like, I was in the younger generation of fighters coming up, but now you get these other young guys who's been watching. And if you ask them who Jason Von Flue is, they were like, I don't even know. And they were like, oh, yeah, I got him in an OSP choke. And I was like, bro, okay, cool. Yeah, I can call it the OSP choke. I'm going to call it a Von Flue choke. So,
out of respect.
Out of respect. People call it the Von Preux. They want to patent it. And I was like, look, he's the one that did it first. And I was like, okay, cool. But, I like it. The thing that, a lot of times when people get guillotines on people want to pull their head out. I don't pull my head out. I actually push my head back in and try to control everything. And I know once I lock it in, it's going to be pretty hard to get out.
It is. And you've proven that. I think what we need to do is I need to have you and Von Flue on the show at the same time, and we have to just get him to give you the choke and let you have the whole thing and just call it, or combine the names, the Von Preux. I like that.
I mean, it's because
that's why it shows respect to the creator, and it shows respect to the greatest executioner of it ever.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, like, The choke. Um, he actually made the choke. People didn't know what's going on. Still to this day, it's crazy. Still to this day, people see it and get locked in. Oh, they okay. Next year, they'll be like, oh, got the Von Preux choke, or they got the Von Flu choke, and like literally, like people still are shocked that it's still working. I was like, bro, like it's probably the best choke ever, just because you can't pull your gloves out.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal choke, and if you can learn how to do it and be successful at it like you have over the years, it's one of those unstoppable things. I think, I think if you get caught in it, you might as well just tap out immediately, because once it's locked in, and not just you, if you know how to execute it right, any fighter that knows how to execute that's a game winner every time in my book.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And people get, and the thing about like the guillotine and stuff, like is the most common submission, and people get lazy with it. And when people get lazy with it, I try to capitalize on it right away, right away.
Yep, you do. I mean, why? I mean, they're going to get lazy and they're going to give you the chance to finish them off. Take it.
Yes, sir.
I remember at XFC back in the day when you put that calf crusher on my boy. Fuck it, I don't remember his name now. It'll come to me in a minute.
Who was it? It was
Was it Ambe Mobley?
Was it Ambe Mobley? Yeah, it was.
It was Ambe.
Yeah.
You put him in that calf crusher, dude. That was night for him.
Yeah. And what's crazy about that was like, the calf crusher come from the truck position, because the truck position, I'm actually really good at that. But the thing about it is, you're just like, I do it, but when I get it there, and like I bypass like anytime I'm working on it, or anytime people be like, oh, okay, this is truck position, I'm like, I bypass the calf crush and go to everything else, just for the simple fact, like I know that's always going to be there.
Yeah, there's not a lot of big men, and I say big men, anybody light heavyweight and up, that have really solid submissions in their skill set. And then there's you, who really does, and you can get him, in the Von Flu, you can get him with the calf crusher. You have so many submissions in your tool bag, and I don't even think we've seen all of them.
No, man. What's crazy about it is, like, the crazy thing is my transition from, like, just, especially being on top, like submissions I can pull out the wazoo, is like, because the thing about it is, within the light heavyweight division, I'm a pretty big guy, and I'm pretty big to move around and stuff. So, a lot of times when I hold on to something, I got a really good grip, and when I lock on, it's pretty much over.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Question from the crowd. Ovince, if you could fight John Jones again, what would you do different? Bones Jones couldn't finish you, which speaks volumes about your talent. And I believe you broke your arm in that fight, right?
Yeah, I had a headline fracture in my left arm, which is, with my left arm. I know it. I know when it happened too. What's crazy is I know when it happened. It happened in the middle of the third round, and when it happened, I was like, "Oh man!" And I was like, "It hurt," because I tried to put my hands up, and when I remember putting my hands up, and I had like, "Man, this really really hurts." And I think I never told my coach in the fight, just because I thought it just hurt. And I was like, after the fight, I was like, "Man, and this hurts really bad. I don't know what's going on." But I don't know, man. John, he's elusive. And the thing about John is, like, I always knew that, like, we always knew that with John, he always was gonna have people, not people. He was always gonna have problems with people relatively his size or whatnot. I mean,
Gustafson proved that.
Yeah, Gus proved that. Like, he's good. Like, even in the first, to be honest, I took the fight on 2 weeks' notice.
I remember.
And I was like thinking to myself, man, I'm gonna crash in the third round. And I actually was like, third round came around, I was like, I don't feel that bad, but fuck, my arm was broken.
Everybody gave me shit because I picked you to win that fight, but I got to go with my peeps, fuck them.
Yeah. I mean, it was good, man. Like, literally, that fight was a good fight for me, because it was a good experience for me. John did his thing, came in, and he do his thing usually, because the thing about John is, like, he's more of a volume type of fighter. He'll pick you apart, going from your legs to upper body. He's good at the wizard position. When you get you in a wizard and he starts flanking really hard with the wizard, so he can slow you down with your punches and stuff. But then after that fourth and fifth round, he'll just pick up that tempo, and that's where he usually kills people within the 4th or 5th round. Or if he picks you apart in the first round, in the first, second round, he'll finish you off usually in the 3rd round. But
Right.
you know, we always knew, like, man, look, he's gonna have a lot of problems and whatnot. And a lot of times I made sure I stayed in front of his face. I think he took me down like 3 times, but I got up pretty much all the time. But he's good. He's good, and this is that's the reason he's at where he's at right now.
Yeah, hopefully him and Stipe do get this fight on in November, because I want to see him and Tom Aspinall dance. Not excited about the Stipe fight.
Man, Tom Aspin, man, that boy is good.
He good.
He's good. Like, when I mean talking about, when you watching a heavyweight that's athletic, boxing is good, jiu-jitsu is good, wrestling is good, his movement, you can tell by his movement, his level changes, like everything about him is good. Like, you see him, he's just like, man, he's like, for a heavyweight, he's complete. He got power. So, like, he got power. The only, like, in that heavyweight division, that's nasty. The only person other than that, like, is pretty much, I say, scary, terrifying, is Francis at the heavyweight division.
And I see, I think Francis is scary if he hits you, but I don't think he's that scary as a heavyweight fighter in MMA, because, like, you know, he doesn't have a well-rounded game. You know,
it's not. I've trained with him, and I can honestly say it's not bad. It's not bad in the sense where, like, he's not gonna get you. He's not gonna probably go for a submission or whatnot. But this motherfucker, look, I tell people, I've been in the fucking weight room my whole entire life. I played football at University of Tennessee. I've been in the weight room my whole entire life.
Go Vols, baby.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. But I've seen a lot of people. I've seen some strong people, and I locked up with some strong people too. That motherfucker's strong.
Strong.
Like, I mean, like, you know how you say strong? He's strong. So, like, and the thing about it is, you just, like, there was one time because I was grappling with him, and I was like, oh, okay, he don't feel that. He was like, he don't feel that strong at all. And I was like, all right, cool, I got him. And I did like a little step around trip, and he was like, because you know he has that French accent, and you know,
right.
I'm from Haiti, so I got a French name, and he was like, Sempoy, are you a wrestler? And I was like, oh, I wrestled in high school, and he was like, oh, okay. And like, literally, I tried to do the same thing to him, and literally I locked up with him. And I remember being on the mat, and he just like I don't know what he did. He did, because I tried to lock up with him, and he went behind me, and I was like, okay, I'm finna hit the switch. So I hit a switch on him, he re-switched, but when he re-switched, like, he literally slung me across the mat. I was on my butt, and I remember sliding across the mat like 3-4 feet, and I was like, I'm thinking to myself, and I remember looking at Coach Eric, and I was like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm
but
good.
He threw you because of strength, not because of technique.
But the thing about it is, he re-switched me. I didn't expect him to do that, being his size.
Well, everybody can get lucky. It's all right, man.
That's true, but shoot, I mean, even when he fought Cyril Gahn, with a messed up knee, and he was taking him down the whole time. I'm a big fan of Francis. Like, literally, after training with him, I was like, okay, he's just scary, and like, he grabs you, and like, literally. Like, when he grabs you, he's just like, oh my God, I feel like it's like I'm fighting for my life. It's just like I'm in fear for my life. Like, okay, I need to get him off of me. Because the thing is, if he gets a position on you, it's just like,
yeah. If he gets on top of you and can ground and pound you, yeah, you're toast. I understand that.
And that's the biggest part. Is just like, I need to get off of him. I need to get off of him. I need to get off. I'm fighting. And like, literally, he'll grab you. Like, literally, he grab you. I'm like, what the hell is this? And I'm like, okay, get off of me. So, but I don't know, man. The heavyweight division in the UFC is you know, you got Stipe, who hasn't fought in a while. John, I don't know when the next time he's gonna fight, because he got a lot of things
November. Him and Stipe in November. That's the certified rumor right now.
Okay, so and Stipe had been waiting that fight forever. Because when
Yeah.
was the last time Stipe fought? Who's the last person Stipe fought?
I don't even know who the last person
was it?
Stipe fought
I
was.
think was it
It was
Cormier?
Francis. Francis beat him up. He hasn't fought
Oh yeah,
since.
it was Francis, and that was what 2 years ago,
3, maybe
3 years
4.
ago.
I gotta look it up
Oh,
now while we're sitting here talking about it.
yeah, and then after that, you get Tom Aspin, who got hurt, came back, and interim champ like twice already, and like, man, it's gonna like it. Tom and John Jones, that'd be a really, really good fight. But Jones will come in with a magnificent game plan. And I wouldn't say it for me is like 55-45. 55 John Jones, 45 Aspen. But if Aspen fought like Stipe, like it would be scary in a sense just because like
If
Stipe been
Aspinall
finished.
fights Stipe, he beats Stipe's ass.
Yeah, because Stipe been hit before. Aspinall got a lot of power.
He does. He's a big boy.
Aspinall got a lot of power. And the thing about John is, John is gonna fight. The thing about John is he always finds a way. He always finds a way.
Always.
So I don't know, man. He's just like I would like to see like the Stipe Jones fight. That been a talk
Been talked about
forever, for 3-4 years now.
Yeah, and his last
finally,
fight was Francis in 2021. March of 2021 was the last time Stipe fought, and he got KO'd in round 2 in 52 seconds.
Yeah. So I don't know. And then now, because I know Aspen is going to wait around to see, he's actually the interim champ. He should be fighting the heavyweight champ right now, but
No, he should be.
Yeah. So everybody want to see the Stipe and Jones fight.
No, that's the thing, though. Everybody doesn't want to see that fight at this point. Everybody wants to see Jones fight Aspinall. That's the fight everybody wants to see now. And I can't blame them. I can't blame them. I mean, Aspinall is the interim champion. He deserves an opportunity to unify the belt. Stipe's been inactive for 3 years, and they're just waiting to make this legacy fight, So, and
also too, like, because Tom fought, he just got through fighting Curtis.
Yeah.
And who did he fought before that?
He fought. Let me look it up here.
Because he defended it twice, to be honest, and they were both KO.
No, he only defended it once because he won it, and then he just defended it against Curtis.
Oh yeah, he won it. Yeah.
Like he was sitting on the shelf waiting to fight, hoping that he was going to get the unification bout, which we knew wasn't going to happen. So Aspinall's 15-3. He beat Sergey Pavlovich for the interim title. And before that, he beat Marcin Tybura. Before that, he lost to Curtis Blades when he injured his knee. Yeah. And then before that, he beat Alexander Volkov. So he's beat Andrei Arlovsky. He beat Sergey Spivak. He beat Alexander Volkov. He's got a win over Curtis, Marcin Tybura, Sergey Pavlovich.
Did he fight Cyril Gane?
No, he did not. He said he wanted that fight and that Cyril has been ducking it.
I can see why.
Cyril's got a fight coming up in France, the next UFC France card or something. So
he's fighting. He's fighting the tall Russian dude.
Alexander Volkov?
Yeah, he fought him already.
Did he? Did I miss that? I forget shit sometimes. Yeah. All right. So Cyril Gane. No, Cyril Gane is his next fight.
Who, Aspen?
No, Alexander Volkov. That's who he's fighting.
They fought already, though, right?
I'm looking. Yeah. Cyril Gane. He lost to Cyril Gane in 2021. He's fighting him again in 2024.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not sold on Cyril Gane. But anyway, I'm going to jump off the heavyweight division because I want to talk about your division and your fight, but I do want to give you this question. This is from my matchmaker, Devin Adams. Have you been to check out Nico Lamaliva yet? And how are they looking this year?
Oh, he said Nico. I mean, he said Nico. I mean, man, they looking good. They looking good. Like I had a chance to like.
I know you still spend time out there.
Oh yeah. I go out there pretty much all the time. I'm always at UT facility using they let me use the medical. I usually end up getting medical training over there too. The coach of hot tub.
Nice.
I use their weight room and everything. So he's looking good, man. He's looking good. He's sharp. The thing about it is, like, I've always known this kid is fast. He can run and whatnot. But watching him playing the bowl game, I was like, okay, he's pretty legit. Then I'm actually like, I haven't been to a practice yet because they just started a 2-day camp or whatnot. I'll sneak in one of the practices just to look at. But I've been looking at videos and stuff, and he's looking really, really good. Like,
all right, well, when you go out there to practice and you see what he looks like, you got to message me so I can let Devin know, because Devin is obviously interested in your Vols.
Okay, I'll let him know. I'll let you know. I'll definitely let you know.
I'll hook you guys up. You can talk Vol football all day. We'll get it all set up.
But we can make it work.
You got a fight coming up with Ryan Spann. Like I said, not a fight I saw on my bingo card. And if I'm correct, so this is a two-part question because you've got Spann coming up, and I also heard that this is the final fight on your contract. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know how that's going to go because I think the UFC, the way they're doing things now, they'll let you fight out your contract and kind of see where it goes from there. I think they did it with Derek. I was going to say Derek Henry, not Derek Henry.
Derek Lewis.
Derek Lewis. They did Derek Lewis, a couple other fighters and whatnot. But we'll see how it goes, man. I'm just going to go out there, do my thing. And, they want to continue to work with me. I'm here.
Hey, look at it like this, man. Tony Ferguson's lost 8 in a row. He's still there. So you should be safe.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, the thing is, too, though, like, it's crazy because I was thinking about it. And I was like, because I remember Ryan Spann and I were match up a while back. And that fight ended up getting scratched or whatnot. Then after that, he just like, because at his gym, Fortis or whatnot, they have a lot of light heavyweight fighters. And I fought 2 of them already. I fought Alonzo Minifield, and I don't think he trains there anymore, but I fought him, and then I just got through fighting Kennedy, and then I'm fighting Ryan Spann.
Yep.
So I mean, hey, I don't know. I think I don't know if it's we don't like OSP type deal, but I mean, it is what it is at this time.
You take the fights, take the checks, right?
Yes, sir.
So how does it feel being like I guess the best term is the senior member of your weight class, because you got to be one of the older guys in the division now, right?
I would say so, yeah. I would say so. It's crazy, yeah. But the thing is, too, man, people be like, "How do you feel?" And I'm like, man, look, if I go in training camp the way I know how to train, when I fight, is always completely different. It's always completely different. Like even my last fight, like my training camp the whole entire time is just me like gritting. And I was like, man, I feel great. Weight cut was good. Hydration process is good, and went in the fight or whatnot. And I think that was my first fight. Like I landed as much punches. Like, I felt, it's one of them things where I try not to get in slugfest with people and whatnot, but I stayed in the pocket and I was throwing, and face got a little bruised up, but my output for that fight was tremendous, and I was satisfied with that fight.
And that's good. You should be. It was a good fight.
So yeah, I was really satisfied. I felt like, man, this is the most punch you ever threw and landed in a fight, and I was like, damn, for real.
That's crazy considering how long you've been in the game too.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, shoot. I guess next fight I'll try to make it better. So, I got Ryan Spann coming up. He's good. Ryan Spann is he got good submissions. He got good striking. He moves really good for a light heavyweight, and it should be a pretty good fight. It should be a really good fight.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Like I said, when they announced it, I didn't see it coming. It came out of left field. I hadn't heard any talk about it. He's you're almost 10 years older than this guy, and this is what everybody's gonna say. And when they book these fights, more often than not, the younger guy wins. But I don't know. I have something to say about, being your age and your experience and what you've experienced in the octagon and who you've experienced against, makes a big difference.
I
But I
mean,
look at his,
the last guy was almost 10 years older than me, younger than me.
yeah, I know. I mean, but he's his resume. He beat Dominic Reyes, and he beat Ion Kudalaba, but and he beat Misha Sirkunov. And he beat Sam Alvey too. So, and he beat Devin Clark. He beat Antonio. I'm going back now to like 2019. He beat Big Nog.
Little
So
Nog.
he's Little Nog. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's had some interesting fights, but his last few fights, he fought Bogdan Guskov, Anthony Smith. He lost to Nikita Krylov. He lost to. He beat, like I said, he beat Dominic Reyes. That's his most recent win, and that was two plus years ago. So,
Yeah.
I like the matchup. I think they're giving this younger guy, a super experienced veteran, and we're going to see what this kid's all about when he faces one of the toughest guys to ever step in the division. Like I said, we were talking about earlier, John Jones couldn't finish you, and that's a big thing to go 5 rounds with Jones. That's a big accomplishment because there's not a lot of people who get to go 5 rounds with Jones. And, yeah, I mean, your arm broke, but so what? You were still in the fight. You know what I'm saying?
So, yeah. I mean, it's, to me, man, at this point, man, like, it's kind of like, it's kind of like I've been in the game for a minute. I know how things operate now. So, me, I'm just gonna go in and do my thing. It's just like I can't, like, it's crazy because like even the last fight, my coach was like, "Man, they got you as the underdog this fight." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's perfect. I like it." So even this fight, I don't know how would they have me at. They might have me at the underdog. Okay, cool, that's perfect. I like it. So came off a win. I think he's coming off a loss, and
he's coming off 3 losses.
Oh, he's coming out 3 losses?
3 losses in a row. Nikita Krylov, Anthony Smith, and Bogdan Guskov. He lost in April. He lost in August of last year, and he lost in March of last year. So his last 3 fights, all L's.
Oh, okay. Well,
that's good to know.
We'll make it happen. So, I mean, I'm sure his back against the wall, and I'm sure my back against the wall because I got to perform. So,
but do you really feel like your back is against the wall when it comes to getting a new contract, or at this point, is it? If this was 10 years ago, I get that, but I don't know if I'm in your shoes. I don't know if I feel like my back's against the wall because I've been here for so long. I've done so much here that and I'm 41 years old. Maybe it wouldn't be a bad thing if I didn't continue on in my fighting career. That's how I would look at it. But I'm not you.
That's true. And there are times like there are some certain times like okay, like I'll sit back and be like, man, should I continue doing this or whatnot? And then after that, I'll start working out. I'm in the gym and I'm like, okay, in fight camp, and I'm like freaking all over the place. I'm running, I'm doing this, I'm like all over the place. Sometimes a lot of times I go down to Atlanta I go down to Atlanta and train in Atlanta with kickboxing coach Manu, and like I'm doing stuff like we're working. He's like, oh, okay. He said, so I said, what you been doing? And I was like, man, I just been busting my ass. And he was like, okay, your kicks are really strong. And he was like, and when he says my kicks are strong, I'm like, okay, cool. I still got it. Even when I'm in the gym and I'm training and whatnot, sometimes I'm in the gym, I'm like, man, because in the gym too, sometimes I'm like, okay, I do go laxy-daisy sometimes in the gym, but if I switch the gears and be like, I'm going to pretty much cremate everybody. Like literally I'm leaving bodies around and I don't care. I don't care. And I feel good. And he tell people too, like, I think the biggest thing that I think I had over fighters is, with me playing football at the University of Tennessee, I knew how to take care of my body. Because I tell people, like, I spent 2/3 of the time, like, literally killing myself. And the other 1/3, like, literally, all I'm doing is pretty much some type of recovery. And, when it comes to recovery, I do pretty much everything. I'm like, hey, okay, if I'm doing dry needling, if I'm doing deep tissue, if I'm doing shockwave therapy, hyperbaric chamber, fascial stretch. I do everything. When I mean I do everything, I do everything. And people
Ice
sometimes,
baths and all that stuff.
man, I do ice. Cause I do ice bath and cold bath at UT. Ice bath and hot tub at UT. I'm doing sauna. When I mean if you can think any type of recovery thing I do pretty much everything.
Damn, that's
So
crazy.
man, and it's crazy. It's just like for me, I get locked in. It's just like because it's funny because one of my training partners and one of my coaches, Jason King, a couple years ago, he was like, man, why are you getting treatment for? You're not even hurt. And I was like, I'm doing treatment because I don't want to get hurt. And he was like, man, I was like, man, you should try it. He said first couple times he was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. And like literally one night he got stretched, and the next day he was like, man, I feel really good. And I was like, yeah, you always jacked up training, but this is how you feel. But when you get actually treatment, you feel a lot better. And the minute he did that, like literally, it's crazy because now he's certified in stretch to win and stuff. And he got certified in that. Now he's always pushing recovery. And like that's one thing I always do is push. Like even with Heather at the PI, like literally, I was like, hey Heather, I need this, and this. Like I know my body to the point where she's like, okay, where are you hurting at? And I was like, oh, I need you to get this part. And I started naming off stuff, and she was like, okay, cool. I know exactly what you're talking about. And whatever she started working on that, she's like, yep, you needed to work on there. So like, or I've asked them about the shockwave therapy machine. And when they had that, I was like, hey, do you have a shockwave therapy? And she was like, nope, it's not in our budget, but we'll be having it next year. And I was like, all right, cool.
That's awesome. That's smart though, because that's what's allowed you to continue so long in a sport that is so unforgiving, because you've worked on your training and your recovery and always stayed true to keeping in shape and being healthy about it and recovering properly. And a lot of guys don't, they don't pay as much attention to recovery as they should.
Man, my biggest thing has always been recovery. My body feels out of whack. I'm like, man, I need to go see. I need to get recovery. See, the chiropractor that's at the University of Tennessee, Dr. Petty, I've been using him since college. Like literally, hey, I'm like, hey, doc, I need you. Boom, 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 boom. He's like, okay, what you been doing? Like literally, I'll literally get off this table and I'll go training or I go end up doing some type of workout. Like my strength goes up 20% because I'm like my body is just out of whack. He'll line me back up, and I'm like, man, I'm great. Like when I'm telling you, when it comes to recovery, I mean, a lot of athletes, that's the number one thing they talk about is recovery now. Even with MMA fighters, now everybody's like, man, you gotta sleep, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. LeBron been playing in the league for what, 20 plus years now? He was 18. He's been playing in the league longer than he's been alive.
No.
Yeah, he has.
He's been playing in the league
18.
Right?
And he's
longer
39?
than he's been alive? That's physically impossible, Ovens.
No, okay. No, he's been playing. He's 18. He's been playing in the NBA longer. Yeah, he started playing 18. He's been playing for like 20 years now.
Right. But that's not longer than he's been alive. He's
been playing. You know what I mean. Yeah.
I know. I'm just screwing with you a little bit.
Yeah. But he says a lot of that is to do recovery, like literally recovery, like the guy that he used recovery wise. So, yeah. But also too, it's not even that, man. What's crazy too, people don't realize I do take care of my body though, but I also try to keep my mind sharp.
You have to,
man. Like playing football, you really didn't have to think about it. But like now, man, with mixed martial arts, man, your emotions get all over the place. You're depriving a grown man of food. Like you pushing yourself through training camp, everything's going well. You can get hurt, something could fall back, and after that, you always have this mind running and whatnot. That's another thing about the UFC that they provide is a good sports psychologist, Micah. Yep. He's been helping me out tremendously. So that's been like another bread and butter that I've been working on.
That's awesome. Your brain health, your mental health is just as important as your physical health. And if one of them is off, the other one suffers. So, so you have to have it.
Oh, but you see guys all the time in the gym. They're freaking specimens in the gym, and then after they get out up under the lights and fall apart.
Yep.
You see it
Happens.
all the time. You be like, and and I know when I'm on point, I'm on point. When I'm on point, like for me, when I'm on point, it's like, oh yeah, I'm getting a bonus tonight.
Yeah, you're unstoppable. When you're on point, you're unstoppable.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I still see that even being 41. Like, when you go into the span fight, I have a feeling you're going to be on point. And we still got a little bit of time before that fight happens. But I could just talking to you today, I like your vibe is coming right through the camera, right into my chest, and I'm feeling it, and I'm going. Ovince don't give a shit that he's 41 years old. Ovince don't give a shit that this is the last fight on his contract. He's going out there to whoop somebody's ass and take home a bonus. That's what I'm feeling here. Then you just said it. I'm just like, yeah, I get it.
It's crazy because people talk about the light heavyweight division, and I'm the type of person, I go in there and do my job. If you talk about me, you talk about me. But if you look at the stats in the light heavyweight division, I'm pretty much in all three. Like if you talk about knockouts, submissions, KOs, knockout submissions and finishes and whatnot, I'm within the top three in that division. And if you want to throw bonuses in there too, I'm within the top three in that.
Yep.
So, a lot of times people be like, I'm like, all right, cool. I can say this, say that, but I've been around, I've done a lot of stuff, and I'll put myself in situations where like, okay, cool, I'm good.
No, I dig it, man. Like I said, it's a fight I didn't expect, but a fight that I'm glad that they announced because I think it's a good fight for both of you. He's definitely got his back against the wall. One of our viewers here said he's not sure where Span's head's at, and neither am I at this point. So we'll see, is he going to be able to overcome those 3 losses and try to take out, a veteran like yourself, or is he going to go out there and get overwhelmed by the veteran? And he's a veteran too. I mean, I shouldn't say like, he's a veteran, but he's just not as seasoned as you. So, you already know who I'm picking. Fucking all you guys out there, I'm taking OSP. Boom.
Thank you, sir.
So, being a dad, I'm going to jump off the fight stuff here. Being a dad, man, because we talked about you having kids, but we didn't really talk. How has that changed your life, man? Like training and everything.
I mean, training wise, like when I'm in camp, I still do as much as I can. But then after that, like 2 weeks before the camp, I kind of drop everything. Like, okay, look, I got to get locked in. Because I tell people too, when you're a kid, like football players, when you're dealing with football players and whatnot, you play on Sunday. On Friday, light switch turns on. Basically, that's why Saturday night you end up staying in the hotel with your teammates or whatnot.
Right.
And then Sunday, boom, you have your game. By the time the game comes off, light switch goes off, and then after you can go back, after Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, being your everyday person and whatnot, because who was it? Was it Michael Bennett? I forget, one of the football guys. He had like 3 daughters. He was like, man, look, man, I'm pushing around grown man every single day, and I got to come home, and I got 3 little girls. And I was like, hey, I got to turn that switch off. But for mixed martial arts fighters, I think for combative fighters, you don't fight weekly. You fight, a few times a year. Like, this is my second fight this year. So now, it's like a buildup. It's constantly like a buildup or whatnot. And, the last 2 weeks, it's just like, I'm just like a rabid dog. Like, literally, I don't care. Like, I'm on edge a lot. And you want to be like that. And, somebody say something to me, I'm firing right back. And like there's been situations, somebody will say something to me before me even thinking, what the fuck you said? Like, literally, like I try not to think about anything. I just, whatever comes out. And
you out there at the grocery store sizing motherfuckers up like,
man, look, bro, look. Mike Tyson said it the best. He was like, any motherfucker over 200 pounds, I'm sizing up. Like, literally, you do it. Like, you walk around, you see somebody, okay, he look like he can handle himself. I'm like, I'm knocking that motherfucker out. So yeah, it's just like that. It's just like, it's a build-up for me. And then when it comes to the fight or whatnot, the week of the fight, you still want to keep that And then after that, you know, you want to peak the week of. When you peak the week of, everything just be like, everything falls in place.
Then you
Everything
have
really
the
falls in
fight, and
place.
you go home and get to be daddy again.
Yeah. Because it's hard, man. I tell people, you can't turn it, you just can't, oh, yeah, I'm going to get in the fight. Boom, turn that light switch off. And then after that, you got to, it's hard. I mean, you
I believe
physically
it.
get in, it's a combative sport. You physically, like, at points, you damn fighting for your life.
Yeah, that's it. You fighting for
Yeah,
your life.
Yeah, you damn fighting for your life. So you just like you can't, you're not gonna go in a fight laxy days. Your mind has to be sharp. Like you gotta understand, like, this is it. Like people, I tell people, like, look, there's a guy across the cage from me, across the octagon, who's willing to do a highlight reel on me. Like literally will look at my eyes, roll behind my head, and stand over my collapsed body doing this. And I was like, you really think I want to go into a fight not prepared? I was like, man, I'm going into that fight. I'm trying to do the same thing to him because I've done that. Like literally, I've done, and I'll walk by and I'll look at somebody and their eyes roll behind the head. I've been that guy that done that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's just like, I'm gonna be that guy to continue to do that.
There you go. All right, so we got another question from the crowd here. This one is not fight related. It says OSP once wore a T-shirt that said "Straight Out of Rutland." My friend in Rutland, British Columbia, Canada, said he gave OSP that shirt, but I never believed him. Does Ovince remember the shirt, and can he remember where he got it?
Straight out of Rutland, British Columbia. Okay, I remember being up in Canada. I'm trying to remember, man.
If you don't remember, you don't remember. But I mean,
don't remember. I don't.
What
remember
a random question to come onto the show with. I was like, I got to ask him. That's so random.
Yeah, I don't remember. Man, I've been given so many stuff now. It's ridiculous. I don't keep up with anything anymore. I used to at first, but everything just became a compound.
What's the coolest thing you've ever been given by a fan?
Man, I got a poster one time that I have a thing where I'm like, put my arms up against the cage like this.
Right.
I had a poster one time a fan gave me, and my arm like this, and like John was standing across the cage, and I was like, okay, I didn't win that fight, but this is a pretty cool poster.
Yeah,
pretty cool poster.
Because it's a cool moment. I mean, you fought the guy who's going to go down right now is the greatest of all time, and even though you didn't get the win, you still shared an octagon with him, and there's only a select handful of men that have gotten to do what you did, regardless of the result, the experience. You know what I'm saying? And if I lost to John Jones, I wouldn't be mad. I mean, the guy's the greatest of all time, so he was supposed to beat me up. I guess I don't know. I mean,
they did have me as underdog that fight, but I mean,
of course they did. I mean, it was John Jones. I mean,
I think in the first round, I forgot, I threw a kick and he caught my kick and he had my legs up in the air. I think that's when he realized, he was like, oh shit, I think it's going to be a long night.
He knew he was going to be in a fight, and if he took you too lightly, he was going home on the losing end.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, because you can tell, like, I can tell that fight is just like, yeah, he was doing damage, but you can tell he was a little cautious that fight.
He was definitely didn't fight his normal style.
So, but it is what it is.
It is what it is, man. Like I said, you've experienced so many cool things, with the travel and the fighters you've gotten to stand in the octagon and go face to face with, wins or losses. While the goal is always to win every fight, you still experience such cool things that there's not a lot of people, and like I said, you're in the top of all the records in your division. If your career ended today, it's a Hall of Fame career in my book.
I would think so. What's crazy about it is I tell people like, man, initially when I got into this, I didn't even want to fight. I was just doing it to keep myself in shape. I got
when I first met you with the XFC, I thought you were somebody's fucking manager or their accountant, dude. You had the glasses on. You were all kind of just really reserved. Back. Yeah, I was just like, look at this guy. And then they told me you were fighting, and then you went out there and fought, and I was like, holy fuck, this guy's fucking good.
Yeah, I was just like low key. like just low key, kind of like even when I fight to this day, like so how do you feel? Like, man, I don't know. I just go in there and do my thing. I tell myself usually when I go in there, either I got 17 minutes, that's all 3 rounds, including the minute in between each round, or I got
Right.
8 seconds. The reason I say 8 seconds is I finished the fight in 8 seconds before. So I was like, man, I finished the fight in 8 seconds, or I got 17 minutes. Either way, I look at the clock, like I know I'll be done at this time, so I can actually, for this length of time, I was like, let's do work. Let's do as much damage or as much pain you can inflict on this human.
That's the way you're supposed to do it. I'm going to give you one more question. I'm going to let you get out of here. One more from the crowd real quick. If there was a fight you would like to run back or a fight you would want with anyone, who would it be you'd like to make the dance with?
If I can run it back.
Or somebody you haven't fought that you always wanted to fight. Either one.
I don't know. Probably like, I'll say 3 fights.
Okay.
Probably the Jimmy Manuel fight, because I was just jacked up that night. That's the mental part about the fight. I really didn't care being in there. The Volkan Ozmir fight, because I felt like I won that fight. And that was another fight that I remember that happened during Super Bowl weekend in Houston. And I remember that fight, like, I was supposed to fight Jan Blachowicz, and Jan got hurt, and they put Volkan last minute. And I'm like, you know what, fuck it. I'll go ahead and fight him. And I think I outstruck him in everything. And it was like, they gave him the fight. And I was like, oh, shit. Okay, cool. That's why Bert was always talking about don't leave the fight to the judges. And who would be the third one? The third one would be, I don't know. The third one would be, I don't know who would be. I'll say those 2 fights. I would say those 2
Well,
fights.
those are fights you would want them back. What about somebody that you've never fought? There's somebody out there that you've never fought that you would like to do the dance with, before you call it a career, or just in a fantasy fight that you would like to make for yourself?
Within the 205 division. Who have I never fought?
I know. It's hard to figure that out.
I mean, there's somebody, probably, I don't know, probably Jan.
Yeah. What about like Pereira?
Man, you know what? I'll probably say Pereira. Just because, to be honest, like, a lot of people I've fought, and they've been like, man, this person has a lot of power. I was like, shit, I got power too. Like, I remember the first time I fought Shogun, that was the biggest part of that fight. Like, I remember I was looking through the thing, they was like, oh, they give Shogun the power over OSP, and I was like, and that ticked me, for some reason, that ticked me off.
I bet.
Then when it happened, when it happened, it was crazy, because like, I remember the whole atmosphere, like walking to the cage. And when I was walking to the cage, his whole team was like in front of me, just basically like they had the whole jump unit. I'm like, all right, cool. And I'm just laughing. I remember that time it was just me and Eric. And I went in there, and I remember Eric was like, throw a high kick. Just make sure when you throw, you let them know you got power. And I threw the high kick, and that's when he like pressured me, and I was like, all right. And when he threw that, I remember I seen that hook coming. Like when I saw it coming, I was like, everything just slow motion. Like I felt it coming, and I was like, let me move my head back. Like in the middle of the whole fight, I was like, let me move my head back just a little more. And when I hit him, he turned around. I was like, boom, 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 boom. Like everybody just the whole arena. I was like, you can hear a pin drop. And my trainer looked at me. We looked at each other. I was like, I'm a little nervous right now because Brazil get pretty intense.
Yeah, it does.
Brazil get pretty intense, but even fighting him, legend. So yeah,
your resume is full of legends. So I mean, you like you said, there's not too many guys you haven't fought. But anyway, my friend, I'm glad you're getting this fight. If you want to stay in the UFC, I hope they give you another contract. if they don't offer you a contract, are you done with your fighting career? You know, you've accomplished a lot, or do you still feel the desire to go out there and fight? And if you do, would you do something like bare knuckle or game bred bare knuckle MMA?
I mean, I ain't doing no bare knuckle. I'm not doing no bare knuckle. Hell no. I told myself I'm not doing that shit. I'm not doing no bare knuckle. Nah, but I mean,
They pay pretty good, man, and you know, you got hands, bro.
I'm not doing no bare knuckle.
What about bare knuckle? What about bare knuckle MMA? Not just straight bare knuckle.
Nope, I'm not doing that either. Nope, I'm not doing that either.
Devin, if you're still watching, I asked him, bro. Fucking, he don't want to do it.
I'm not doing no bare knuckle, nothing.
Nothing.
So I was like, nah, I don't want that. But I mean, I would continue. I don't know, man. I want to continue fighting. Like it's crazy. Like I said, my body still feels really good, strength wise. Like I just got through training, and everybody was looking at me like, "Bro, you good?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm just tired." And they were like, "Well, shit, you didn't look tired because you pretty much cremated everybody." So yeah, I feel good, man. I feel good. I'm actually like, I'm done training right now. I'm actually gonna go for a run. So
there you go. Yeah. All the recovery is paid off all these years. Well, listen, man, you have a blessed night. Congratulations on the 2 little boys and being a dad of twins. That's got to be a whole other adventure that you're just embarking on, and you have no idea yet, man. It's going to get silly. So enjoy that because it's fun. Good luck on the Ryan Spann fight. I'm taking you to win. You guys heard it here. Ovince in 2.
All right, Chris. You have a good night.
All right, man. Be well. God bless, and we'll talk to you soon.
Definitely.
Boys and girls, that was Ovince St. Preux, man. OSP. Yeah, you know me. What a great guy. I've known him for a long time before he ever made it to Strikeforce and the UFC. He fought with us at the XFC Knoxville on the University of Tennessee campus. I really thought he was an accountant or somebody's manager when I first met him, dude. He came in all like just, pulled in and reserved. He had these little little square wire glasses on. I just thought he was somebody there as a manager or a coach or something. I didn't know he was a fighter. And then he stepped in our cage and holy fuck. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. Thanks to my guests, Carli Judice, Nate Maness, and Ovince St. Preux. We are going to jump on out of here. Thanks for you guys that participated. Don't forget to follow us on our Fight Bananas YouTube page. Subscribe. Smash the like button. Smash the fucking subscribe button. Just get it. We will talk again soon. Next Monday. This Friday, I'll be in Pensacola for Island Fights 84. Next Monday, I will be doing a show. I was going to take the week off, but I'm going to do the show on Monday. And I have one guest lined up right now. The Beast Boy, Chris Barnett, going to be coming through next Monday evening. So make sure you tune in for that one. I think he's got some fight news we're going to get to drop. So it should be awesome. But thank you guys for being a part of my life today and for allowing me to be part of yours for just a little while. I really do appreciate it. And I can never put into words how much it means to me that you guys spend time with me. So with that being said, we're going to jump on out of here. So you guys have a great night, great day tomorrow. Don't forget Fight Bananas show tomorrow, 1 o'clock. Dave, Maddie, and Elle will carry you on with some combat sports news, and we'll see you all then. Till then, I am Christopher James, and you have been Cateside. Good night, everybody.
What happens if you lose, Nick?
Who the hell is Aquaman?
I get Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Pebbles, I get sausage biscuit. Maybe you guys will see a little footage of that later on because we got some good stuff.
Philip the Deuces. There you go, baby.